Hello. Are we back? Are we alive? Is this the real life or is this fantasy? Okay. I think we might have gotten this fixed up and ready to go for real, for real. So, sorry about the problems starting off here, guys. It's not ideal. Very annoying, very frustrating. But I think we've got it figured out, and I think we can get this going now, finally. Okay. Corn vs. Coast would be sick, Scarbrand. Please, please, please. Where you at? At... Alright guys, we're back. Stream farted itself out into oblivion a minute ago, so I had to do some messing around with some stuff, but I finally got it stabilized, and we're getting it rolling, so sorry for the technical issues starting off. You just love to see it happen, right? That's how it goes, I guess. But we've got a good match to spectate. It's going to be Korn versus Vampire Coast to start off. Scarbrand doing me a solid here, getting it rolling, so let me make sure I got my map pack on, jumping in here, and we're going to get it going. So welcome to the new player tournament stream, where all things new are in existence, and the future is not yet written. Alright. Boom, game full. Showing. Oh, whoops. Sick. Scarbrand's educating me out here. I had no idea that's how it worked. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. Alright, so Korn versus Coast in the opening here. And we're going to be seeing someone running it out with the special tech build that Turn was showing off on his most recent video. We've got Araness Assault Spite, presumably on foot with the net, and maybe a couple other abilities we'll see. A Morngul Haunter, and then the Deeps Caster, man. The Deeps Caster with the Fog of the Damned, I assume, which is a really nice tool. So someone's been doing their homework. I love to see that, but it's a different build from last time that Scarbrand's going to be bringing. Coming out with some Chosen against Vampire Coast. You might think that's a bad idea, but people generally don't bring huge gun lines against Khorne just because of the Fury pressure. There are a couple of handgun units here. There's also a unit of Depth Guard. The Depth Guard are going to be basically on duty of killing any Furies that try to land on these gunnery mobs, but that's going to be really hard. Furies shred zombie handguns. These guys have absolute god-awful melee defense, and Furies have 44 melee attack for Khorne, so they're pretty vicious. And the weapon strength's pretty high, so they can get in there and do some nasty damage before any serious answers can come out. The biggest danger on the field right now for Khorne is the Morngul Haunter and probably the Depth Guard. These handguns could be a deciding factor, but like I said, that's going to come down to whether the Depth Guard and maybe Scurvy Dogs are going to be able to keep Furies off of them. So, Fabrosi versus Scarbrand. They're about to kick this one off. We've got a couple of Cultists in the front line with both of the Chosen out here visible. Valky is up in the sky as per usual. She's a really good option. Really love to see her. And yeah, Marauders. Lots of stuff like that. Curious to see if the Bombers are going to be able to do much of anything. There's a lot of armor out on the field right now for Khorne. They're going to be pretty difficult to deal with if they get stuck in close in the formation. Because you don't want to get Furies surrounded. They lose their frenzy pretty quickly. But you might be able to just grind right through all of the deckhand mobs to get right on top of them before they can do any nasty damage, because they're only really good against the unarmored targets, like the Marauders here. And the Marauders should play a little bit more on the flank, so I'm curious to see how that happens. Kind of move up here, you can cap the objective, and then you like maneuver the Marauders around the flanks, and then just use the Chaos Warriors to sit and hold the objectives themselves. So, in the early going, Valky is just going to go on a little mission. She wants to go see what's up. She's pretty safe to go scout with because of Demon Shield. You can usually survive anything that's going to come out and threaten her with any serious damage just by popping that and running away. Got Denizens of the Deep and Fog the Damned, so pretty basic spell kit for the Deeps Captain here. Just going to be trundling forward with the Deckhand Mob Escort, so Fabrosi is going to really need to make sure this Deeps Caster stays alive, which can be kind of difficult. There won't be any Karanak, though, which is going to help a lot. Karanak's pretty devastating for a lot of the Vampire Casters, just because most of them have low armor. Struggles a little bit against Noctilus.
Keep it from the foe.
But Noctilus has his own set of problems to deal with oftentimes, and if you just stay around him, dodging and circling about him, you can shut down the magic regardless with the superior speed that Karanak has. Dodging forward, getting a little dangerous flying into the range of these handguns, but I think Scarbrand's just trying to suss out where there might be hidden units. There is the Morngul Haunter in the forest here. Lamprey's Bite, or Lamprey's Revenge, sorry. Lamprey's Bite is the Zinch ability. Lamprey's Revenge coming out here, they are going to be ridiculously difficult for Khorne to get rid of without some throwing axes, or honestly, Blood Shrine can do okay damage to them. It's got the flaming and magical attacks. Its melee attack's pretty good too. You can sit it under some Chaos Warriors, and they'll trade a little more favorably there. But definitely something a little harder hitting to get rid of these guys. Having the regen makes them insanely durable, even against a faction that has a lot of fire damage. As long as they don't get isolated, they can certainly do some good work. Valky is hanging out in the forest over here. I kind of like it. It's going to give info on what's coming out of the Vanguard here. And also staying safe from shooting, because the trees are going to block most of the missile fire. Cultist is going in on the deckhand mobs here, getting a little bit of damage, getting that Gate of Khorne ability active. You could probably grind that out real quick and then pop it on top of the bombers here. And Khorne is going for a back cap in the early going. You've got Chosen, 2 Chosen, walking right up on the number 2 objective. They're under handgun fire, but Scarbrand doing a really good job of facing the shields forward to take the damage. That's going to block up 55% of that. Just outright resisting it, which is pretty awesome for them. Depth Guard, getting on top of Marauders. These Marauders are dead already, basically. They can't even withdraw from combat because they're actually slower than the Depth Guard. So that's a really nice catch for Brosi in the opening. Hunger is going to help keep those guys nice and healthy too, so that the trade goes even more heavily in their favor. What was that? Something just popped the cultists in the face. Oh, I guess it was the bombs. The bombs are thrown in here. They're doing some decent work against the Khorne Warriors, so I really don't mind that at all. Halberd's here, getting wrecked by this Blood Shrine. Blood Shrines are great at peeling through front lines and getting on top of stuff like handguns, but Valkyria's back here getting smacked around by the handgun fire. Definitely need to get back here. Did a little bit of poke against the caster here, it looks like. Down to about a third of the health there, and no heals for vampire counts is going to make it a little bit more difficult for them to do something with the caster in the event of an emergency. Very exposed here. Valkyria looking like she might just dive right back in here on top. And the Blood Shrine and the Cultists are coming out here, for Brosi needs to rally the Rotting Prometheans here and jump back here to help this caster before it goes down. Losing the magic is going to be very painful. You do not want to fight fair against Khorne. You need everything at your disposal to win this matchup. And Khorne getting in there and killing the caster is going to put the vampires at a massive deficit in the early going here. But the value trading is going okay. These Chosen of Khorne, they're about dead. They've only gotten about 300 value. They are holding up these Depth Guard, though, and a Sword of Khorne is going to be coming in. Already charging that up in the early going here. Fat damage, man. Roasting the Deckhand Mob and the Depth Guard, but not icing either one of those units is a little unfortunate. We've got some Furies coming out. They're going to be really good answering the guns here. Rear charging Scurvy Dogs and the like, and these Chosen are just going all day. They're not going to get killed by... You could probably send out 20 or 30 deckhand mobs to fight Chosen, and they would not go down. I'm fairly convinced that they could get 600-700 kills fighting against zombies of this caliber. But Animated Hulk sitting off to the side here, definitely need to maneuver these guys in. Scurvy Dogs should maneuver out and collapse on the rear of these Furies here, because it's starting to get pretty unmanageable for the coast. Losing the caster, and the front lines are getting a little overwhelmed here. The Lamprey's Revenge and the Rotting Promethean summons starting to get isolated here. Minotaurs on top of them. Minotaurs with their massive AP axes are going to do some serious work against these guys, but Valkyria gets netted by Aranessa here. Kraken's Bane giving a little bit of melee attack and bonus versus large to help against the Minotaurs. That's gonna be pretty important. It's giving it to the, look at this guy. The Morngul Haunter with all of the bonus versus everything, basically. Looking to get rid of Valkyria, but she's just standing in here. She's got Demon Shield active, which is just worn off. and she's going against the entire world. Gonna try and escape, but down to 38 speed. Chilling Aura, and what else is it? The Frostbite? I didn't know those overlapped, but you learn something every day. Valkia luckily able to get up in the sky with the help of these Minos here. These guys, up to 1600 value already. The Cultist getting beat up by Aranessa pretty badly right now. But the frontline fighting has been going pretty spectacularly for Khorne. Up to 4,000 in the lead now, and eclipsing that even faster. Animated Hulks are fighting Chosen. They'll wear these guys down eventually, but with Valkia here to help out, it's going to go a little bit more heavily in Khorne's favor. These guys just have great melee defense, so if you get Animated Hulks on top of the Chosen, that's a really good strategy. You have to make sure that you've got deckhand mobs under them, though. In concert, these two can beat a Chosen, which is a huge upswing for you in value. But if you send them in one at a time and you play disconnected like this, you know, where they're not supporting one another, they can each in turn get dealt with pretty easily by Khorne. Khorne is very good in isolated one-on-ones. Not so good when you have shooting overlapping on top of supported positions, where like Scurvy Dogs and Mournguls fighting some Fleshhounds. It's not a bad fight at all for them. But losing all of the Mournguls here, Animated Hulks are going down, all the Rotting Prometheans in the world here. Crab Graveyard, man. Absolutely brutal stuff. Really well played by Scarbrand so far. And I don't imagine that this is going to get any better for Vampire Coast. So that was a pretty fun little game to get a jump on in the early going. You played it really well in the opening for Brosi, but missing out on getting value on your magic is definitely the killer there. The Mourngul Haunter and Aranessa, they were doing okay. They did get worked down there at the end just because they got completely swamped in units. What would I do if there's anything that you could do differently for this build? I'm trying to think. Carronades are not great here. Honestly, I don't know about a mortar either. Let's go take a look. What would be good against that Khorne build? Well played, both of y'all. I'm gonna go take a look at the Vampire Coast roster, and we'll see if there's anything that you can do to counter that build. I do like Aranessa here. Don't need that, don't need that. I like her on the Rotting Promethean, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I think it makes her much better. I mean, she gets 120 armor. How much health does she get? She gets almost 1,000 more health, and can really start to do some really good work. She gets 1 extra speed, not that that matters. She loses some melee attack, but that's okay. She's already got pretty good values, and you're bringing her for the anti-large, or for the bonus versus large, and the nets more than anything. 100 meters, 18 seconds, pretty long, honestly. Not a gunnery white. A fleet captain of the deeps, Fog of the Damned, and Denizens. I do like that. You could bring a Spiteful Shot and pop it on your missiles and shoot something down, potentially. Don't think that's a bad idea at all. You can keep Taunt, because it actually does good work. Kiss of the Deep is useless. The Hunger is nice. I think that's about as much as you need. And if you want to go really cheap, you can. You've got the Mourngul Haunter to provide some punching power for you. Scarecrow Banner might be good, because flying units all over the place. It'll be affecting everybody. Furies, Valkia, whatchamacallits, Bloodthirsters and Exalted Bloodthirsters alike. And the minus leadership on Khorne is very painful, because if you lose Frenzy, that's the selling point of your faction other than the spell resistance. So bringing that and layering it with Fog of the Damned, and you can actually leadership bomb Furies pretty effectively, because then they're at minus 16 leadership at that point, and you just rear charge them with literally anything, and they're going to start crumbling. It could be bombers, it could be Scurvy Dogs more than likely, just because these guys are so cheap and cost effective. They can just go and rear charge Furies, and you can profit from there. Shade Wraith Gunners are very risky in this matchup, so I would not bring them. The hand cannons are a little too short range to fight Khorne effectively, but the armor piercing is pretty crazy on them. If they fired faster than every 14 seconds, I would say they might be worth it. Something like this. Necrofex Colossus against Khorne isn't the worst idea. The cannons are actually pretty powerful, and if you get side shots on infantry, you can absolutely dumpster them. It's pretty crazy. Syrene's probably not the best go. I would honestly say maybe the Polearm Depth Guard are your go-to, because they have armor piercing. It'll help them kill Khorne warriors. The standard Depth Guard are great, don't get me wrong. They're amazing units, but they lack some of the melee defense. And the Frenzy is going to get these guys up to 52 melee attack anyways. And if you're popping Fog of the Damned, your opponent's not going to be hitting quite as hard, because they're losing the melee attack. So the Polearms having a little bit better melee defense on top of having a debuff spell that assists them there is going to make them a little bit more consistent than Depth Guard. They're also going to be able to fight off Flesh Hounds. They'll do okay against Furies. They don't get any bonuses, but they don't need it so much. And they're only 100 gold more, so I personally would go with them. And then you can just bring tons of these guys. And I do like the handguns. I think they're pretty good. You could go triple handgun and force your opponent to try and land and do something about them. The more guns you have, the more overlapping opportunities of fire you get. What else could you bring here? I mean, supporting halberds aren't a bad idea, but you could probably just bring more polearms. You really need armor against Khorne. I know you don't have a lot of armor access with this faction, but it's pretty desperate. It's a very dire need. Fellbats don't do a lot here. You got 2,700 gold to work with from this point. I don't know what you would bring, but this is the bones of a build that I think would work really well against Khorne. And I think that what Fabrosi brought would be pretty effective, but I think that a little more consistency can be found out of the Depth Guard polearms, because you can fight Minotaurs, you can still kill Furies, you can go after Flesh Hounds, you can just exert a lot more control over the battlefield with these guys. You don't want to be trying to grind into Khorne infantry in general. It usually doesn't go too well. Maybe mixing in one Sirene's not bad. They're very vulnerable to a lot on the Khorne roster, though. So be very aware of that. They'll get wrecked by Furies, Flesh Hounds, Bloodletters. Now that I'm talking about it, maybe you just don't bring them. I think they just die immediately. But maybe mixing in a Mortar's not bad. These do a lot of damage to Bloodletters and Marauders. So maybe you can exert a little pressure from the back. And Khorne players, I certainly do this. Sometimes I panic when I see artillery pieces, because they can be really difficult to shut down at times. And you can force massive overextends as players think they can get to these. And then you just use handguns, gunnery mob, Prometheans, and the like to just gun stuff down. Maybe mixing in one deck gunner isn't bad either. They're actually one of the quicker firing missile pieces you have. And having shield breaker is great, because Khorne is gonna bring shielded warriors against you. We're going to be downloading some of the replays that folks are sending us. We'll probably watch some of those between games as well. Just to show people's gameplay off and to give other pointers. Alright. Let's jump in here. I'm going to go check bracket, and I'll be right back, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all are enjoying. Drop in here. Also, drop in chat what y'all would like to see for a 50 subscriber stream. Because I was thinking of doing a stream where I just take recommendations for playing factions, builds, whatever, and just doing that for like 3 or 4 hours. And maybe doing a special video as well later. I've got some build guide ideas that I'd really like to do. I just have to bite the bullet and buy Adobe Premiere to do video editing. Yeah, ranged dies really fast to Valkia, but I think that having some ranged on the field is important. Giving up one of the aspects that you perform better than Khorne can be not great, because if you don't have any shooting, then Marauder axes are going to come out, and they're just going to destroy your Rotting Prometheans. They ruin their day, so you have to have something to answer them. And there are techs that you can bring to deal with Furies and Valkia. The Mourngul Haunter can lock Valkia down on the ground. He's got the Scarecrow Banner, which lowers leadership for flying units. That's pretty good against Furies. What happens is your opponent flies overhead with Furies. They land. They have to land. And then you pop Fog of the Damned, run the Mourngul Haunter over to support the gun line, and you use Scurvy Dog to charge into the Furies, and then you start ruining Fury's day. Furies are an expensive and fragile unit. You can deal with them. They're not oppressive like they were before the most recent patch when they got nerfed. Thankfully they got nerfed, because they were pretty insane. Now they're a little bit more balanced out, and you can certainly leadership bomb them, because you're getting -16 from Spell and Banner. And then, like I said, rear charge, that's 30 leadership that's gone. They no longer have Frenzy. They take a little bit of damage, and they're going to start crumbling immediately. That would be my 2 cents on how you would deal with Furies if you're bringing a gun line for Vampire Coast. And then you've got nets with Aranessa. It's not a bad idea to net down a Fury just to kill it. I mean, it's a 650 gold unit that has a lot of scaling potential. Alright. Boop. Downloading more stuff. Let's go... Let's message Nipes. We're going to spectate them and Random Cuban. I think that'll be a fun match. Pop this here. Mentions. Excuse me, guys. Okay. Let's go find our other person. Boom. Yeah, okay. We're gonna be streaming Random Cuban and Nipes. Perfect. Jump with code. Painful. Spectate. Alright. Just so nobody can see any builds. Moving away from here. And what was I gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna go do replay stuff. That way, if this game ends up being a little lopsided and it ends quickly, we've got something else to chill and watch. Is this the right one? Okay. Options for replays that I just got that would be other games from the new player tournament. Grand Cathay versus Lizardmen. Britonia versus Nurgle, and High Elf versus High Elf Mirror. Let me know what y'all would like to see. I agree. You can bring 4 handgunners against Khorne. You need to go all in on the gun line if you want to, but they're pretty cheap. I mean, 550 gold for AP missiles is really nice. They've got good range, and there's ways to deal with Furies. Like I'm saying, I'm telling you that a gun line is probably a little bit better against Khorne than just trying to play the melee grind against them. It's a hard matchup, though, regardless. Khorne has so many tools to deal with Vampire Coast in a way that they don't against, whatchamacallits, Vampire Counts. Vampire Counts will play a melee grind all day and win against Khorne. But Vampire Coast does not have Mortis engines, they don't have Corpse Carts, they lack a lot of passive healing tools that Counts have. Also, that's why Counts beat Vampire Coast pretty badly. Brett versus Nurgle? Cool. We'll do that. But yeah, you gotta take advantage of Vampire Coast's vulnerability in terms of heals and sustainability. If there's a faction that can do that, it's Khorne. Khorne wins really hard, or you trade evenly and you slowly lose momentum. That tends to be how they play. Alright. Next match is on Kassar's Cursed Oasis. This is one of my favorite maps, truthfully. It's so cool. It's got some fun terrain features. It's not super broken up, but it's also nice and large with lots of wide open spaces to maneuver around, which I really enjoy. I think it's got a lot of, I don't know, I think it's one of the most, like, balanced maps, honestly. Just in terms of how it's, like, mirrored. And gives each side some stuff to do with the terrain. Terrain is so underrated in understanding the game, by the way. Maybe I should do a guide on that. Terrain features guide and how to effectively play terrain. Alright, guys. Let's get it rolling. We love these statues. Very cool. Oh, let's go look at the little glyphs here. I've never actually looked at them to see if they... Oh, they're like actually like legible, sort of. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But over here, we've got the forces of the High Elves. 3 Illyrian Reaver Archers are the Heralds of the Wind out here. No, they're not. Oh, there's 4 of them. Wow, very heavy into the Skirmish Cavalry, which is a really good call. They massively out-trade the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders. These guys just have bad leadership, and the accurate shooting from the Illyrian Reaver Archers will tend to outvalue them pretty effectively. You've got those, you've got spears, 2 White Lions, 2 spears, a Star Dragon, and Teclis on horseback with Koroi potion, Fiery Convocation, oh, just the Bound Convocation, Reserve Charge, Spell Mastery, Flock of Doom, and Regrowth for the spells. You've got Astrogoth with Flamestorm and Burning Wrath. This is going to be nasty. Burning Wrath overcasted does sick damage. Good dodge, for the most part.
We have a victory point.
Little bit of poke going in against these guys. If that had hit square, this unit would be down to about half health already. And the Wolf Raiders actually got some good poke on the Illyrian Reaver Archers. But the Bull Centaur Taruk out here, that's a fun unit. You don't see him terribly often, but getting a lot more play as of late is a very juicy one for the Illyrian Reaver Archers. Poking this guy down would actually be a pretty good idea. Astrogoth has a lot of armor. He's a little bit more difficult to snipe. 70 is good, but not invincible for sure. Gotta get away from these blunderbusses. If they get one volley off, they're gonna do nasty work here. They're advancing up. The order hasn't quite gone in, but now it's going. Oh, they just managed to squeak away. Really good micro from Cuban there. Staying away from those blunderbusses is going to be really important. There's 2 of them. Lots of Dwarf Warriors, which I do like. Definitely going to mitigate most of the Illyrian Reaver damage. Nasty Burning Wrath. Going to roast these guys. Oh, you love to see it. That's pretty good value off of that. And it's so cheap that you can just keep throwing that out over and over again. Trading evenly in the skirmish phase, actually trading up in the skirmish phase, as the Chaos Dowie against these High Elf Reaver Archers is pretty good. Pretty good stuff. And playing really safe with these Raiders, too. Not giving the Illyrian Reaver Archers here an opportunity to counterfire effectively. These guys are a little split up from the rest of the Corps, which is why they're trading so poorly into them. They're just getting overwhelmed with fire right now. Rahagra's Pride coming out. We've got 2 War Lions of Trace, 1 Archer. These Archers, actually a decent call, because they can go and shoot at the Wolf Raiders if they start getting close. Where do you go with the Star Dragon right now? I think there's a opportunity here to move up and dive on top of this Bull Centaur Toruk right now. He's kind of out in no man's land against a ranged faction. And if you jump out here and get on him right now, I think you could do some serious work. Illyrian Reaver Archers really aren't paying for themselves. They're shooting at these silver-shielded blunderbusses, which not a huge fan of. You know, that's a little too much meat to try and get through. Shooting the Goblin Laborers isn't bad, just to get those guys off the field. They can be really annoying standing underfoot of something expensive in the late game, blocking them up. What is this coming in here? Oh, the Fiery Convocation is coming down. Oh, no. Get out of there, Dowie. Oh, my God. That was a beautiful cast. Really well placed for Cuban there. Definitely getting some nice value. The Iron Demon is coming out. Going to chase down the Illyrian Reaver Archers here, who are not going to be able to deal with that thing efficiently. And the Star Dragon is going after the Toruk here. Chaos Dwarf Warrior buffering is gone. White Lions of Trace and the War Lions here absolutely bulldozing those guys. Star Dragon going into the back line, getting on top of some more Warriors here, while the Trace Lions taking some fat volleys from the blunderbusses at close range here, but they're basically on top, and a really nice drop down from the Dragon, starting to tear through this unit, and the terror routes are going to be really pivotal for removing these missile units, but good overlapping fire. Knipe's not giving any room for free value, getting some good blunderbuss fire on the Star Dragon here, while Astrogoth goes in, trying to save his men. Pillar messing with the camera, everything's going wrong. But we're persevering, and this Dragon getting a nice regrowth. Good call, good call. Definitely needs the healing here. In the back, get these Great Weapon Renders away from this combat against the White Lions here. Although they are killing the War Lions, so never mind. Keep these guys here. But as soon as possible, get them onto the Star Dragon that's deep in here, because you might be able to catch it on the ground and lock it in place. The Toruk is coming back here. Barely misses the Star Dragon. If he had hit it there and the renders had turned around, could have really locked that guy down and killed him. The Reaver Archers online staying alive, but the what was once favorable looking for the forces of the High Elves is starting to look a little bit scary as some Kadai Fireborn push back here and get on top of these overextended White Lions. This is going to be one of the biggest washes in all of Warhammer right here. Kadai Fireborn absolutely annihilate infantry in combat. And they're going to get some charge on their Blazing Body. I mean, it's not the fastest charging ability. It definitely needs a little bit of a rework update on it, but it's going to get them a little bit of charge off on it. Any extra physical resist is going to be nice. And they're still nice and healthy, and they just beat down a pretty expensive unit. Train and Astrogoth rolling through some spearmen. The high elf archers here slowly getting mulched into oblivion by this big demon. The dragon is nice and healthy. A lot of the value is on this guy. If this thing can start taking out the Iron Demon and maybe getting after Astrogoth, that might be good. But the Bull Centaur renders are not going to give this dragon any breathing room here. But a countercharge from the Silver Helms might be enough to maybe push this into favorable terms for the High Elves here. Surrounding on all sides this very expensive Centaur render unit. They're getting picked apart right now, and the Bull Centaur Torok cannot get on its ideal target right now. The Silver Helms kind of blocking him up. He's having trouble getting through. Star Dragon on top of Astrogoth, and maybe we'll be seeing a little bit more combat from this guy. Pulling out, though, and get the Silver Helms out, too. I think it's about time for them to leave. You don't want to leave them in combat against the Torok and Astrogoth. You're going to take some pretty nasty damage there if the Star Dragon's going elsewhere. Where's this guy going to go? He could get a nice breath attack right here. It might be what is happening. Awesome, awesome micro. Really nice effect, too, man. Absolutely nailing those blunderbusses. Getting rid of them might be something that's going to get Cuban back in this game. Does have a double cap. Getting up on the ticket still and skirmishing pretty effectively out here. These Reaver Archers can just go right in here and win this fight if they chase down these Hobgoblins. But the Hobgoblins are choosing to charge right now. Where are these elite Reaver Archers going? No, turn them and fight. Missing the charge. These Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders are going to do a lot of damage with the charge bonus active. They might still lose the combat, but we'll see. It's a lot more even than you might otherwise think. A Flamestorm coming out of Astrogoth here, doing nasty work against these White Lions. They would otherwise be really nice at picking him apart, but they just got absolutely deleted from the game right now. I mean, this very expensive High Elf unit just got one-shot by one spell. Oh, man. Gotta be overcasted. This thing is just lasting forever, too. Oh, my goodness. Star Dragon back here, looking the worse for wear now. Almost healing capped. Torok is not letting it breathe. Good value on that guy. 1,000 value on the Torok. And the Kadai Fireborn still going here, man. How much value do they have? 1,300 value. And they're tearing apart a unit of archers. It seems like the big monsters in SEs for the Chaos Dowie are starting to take over this game, man. Amazing micro on them so far. And the Illyrian Reavers lost against both of those Hobgoblins jumping on them. But they're rallying here now. They can get in there. They can still do some good damage, even in their tattered state. They just need the charge bonus. They have better stats and a better charge bonus, better weapon strength, better leadership, most importantly. So they could win this combat and maybe get out here and threaten the objective, because the number one, still secured by the High Elves. Number two, though, is getting really dicey here. A bunch of Chaos Dowie warriors are moving up. They've got a decent amount of support left. The Kadai Fireborn are barely hanging on here, killing another unit, wrecking these spearmen here. Astrogoth and the Centaur Torok providing a little bit of support, but Phoenix Guard are going to start doing some pretty nasty damage here. The Torok knows where he's going, getting away from all of that nonsense. And the Fireborn are about to lose their, what is it? Burning Bright. Yeah, losing Burning Bright. They're no longer unbreakable here. They're probably going to start dissipating in a moment. But another huge Flamestorm coming down, taking down the Phoenix Guard's health. Blunderbuss is lining up for shots too, man. If these spears don't get there in time, it's going to be pretty nasty. Huge volley going in, flattening the Phoenix Guard. Doing a great job is Knipes, getting rid of these elite halberds so far. Down to half health, and they've barely gotten any value so far. Techless needs to run, microing him out of there away from the Torok. Needs to find somewhere to go. I don't know where this guy goes, but definitely needs to keep going. Losing your Lord here would be game. Nice breath attack, getting the blunderbusses here. Star Dragon still on the field, still alive, 1,800 value, maybe going to make a difference here. Getting a terror route would be pretty huge. High Elves are barely holding on to this objective, and Random Cuban, man, showing the micro chops, staying alive here in the late game in a very scrappy fight against the Chaos Dowie. Get the charge, get the charge. Oh, no. Very unfortunate there, not getting the charge off. They're going to lose much harder than they would have otherwise. They'd have still lost, even if they had gotten the charge, but more damage on those Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders would have been nice. You could have maybe brought out a Illyrian Reaver from the Vanguard here to go finish them off. If they were a little bit lower, I wouldn't take the fight now, as it stands. More Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders, man. Is the mobility of Chaos Dowie going to end up being the deciding factor here? If the triple cap comes in, the High Elves are going to start suffering pretty badly. It is triple cap territory right now. So holding on to one objective is incredibly important, and the Dwarves have two. About to cap a third, man. Gotta get something out here. Silver Helms, something. Silver Helms would be great in this circumstance. Most of the SEs and other tools are out here on the number 2. Although the Centaurs are moving over, so I don't know what you do in this situation. Silver Helms do come out. Good call. Random Cuban obviously knows what he's doing. Can he make it happen, though? He's got to get an objective back, and he's got to do it quickly. The last thing that you're going to want to happen is to suddenly have to double cap again. You're a little bit behind on value, not catastrophically. You can grind this back. White lines of trace are all over the place on the field. Another breath attack coming in from the Star Dragon. This thing has been an MVP so far. Well worth the price point. Can it get Astrogoth? Killing Astrogoth would be a game-winning play here, I think. You've got the lead. You've got some time to work with. You've got to value trade a little bit. You've got to get back in this game. You've got to find a way to get ahead here. Nice charge onto the Warriors, helping out these White Lions. Maybe going to get a terror out here. We'll see. That'd be really nice. These Tattered Spearmen are holding up this Warrior unit and helping split them up. The Bull Centaur Torok is on top of the Star Dragon, though. Ooh, don't get double-teamed by these guys. Sitting on top of the White Lions here is nice, and the Spearmen are definitely going to help. Can the Star Dragon carry here? If the Star Dragon gets Astrogoth, I don't know how much it matters that the Bull Centaur's out here doing some pretty nasty damage to these Silver Helms. Ooh, it's going to be scary. There's 2 Bull Centaur renders out here, actually. Okay, that is pretty incredible. Having 2 of those guys might be enough to help secure the flanks and hold on to the triple cap here. Both of these players going crazy right now, making a very scrappy fight out of this game. It's had a couple of momentum swings so far. Dowie, or the Chaos Dowie, suffered a little bit in the initial engagement, but rallied really well there in the mid-game. Astrogoth with 3,000 value, Bull Centaur Torok with 2,200, and we've got the Big Dragon here with 2,300, so some big performances across the board. 1842 from Teclis, but man oh man are these Bull Centaur renders vicious. Tearing apart this Silver Helm here. Phoenix Guard collapsing on the rear, though. Maybe this is where these guys can grind back some value. Gotta get the Bull Centaur renders away here. They've got an opening, though, now that they've killed the Silver Helms. And Illyrian Reavers can't stay here. They've got to get away now. They've got to run. Just run back with these guys. Find somewhere else in the battlefield to go. There's an opening on the number 3 objective. High Elves can get this back. They're flipping the middle as well. These Spears and the White Lions, without the Flame Storms, they're actually staying on the field now. Oh my god, this game. I don't know who's going to win this game. I mean, the Bull Centaur renders are a huge target. They're very nasty. They're definitely going to be able to hold the number 1 here. Or take the number 1, I should say. Blunderbusses are out on the field. Where are they going to go? Probably after the Spearmen and the White Lions. They can get some good volleys before they get charged down. Iron Demon's going to help a lot, too. Going to be able to do some nice damage. Oh my god, the number 3 is flipped. The number 1 is flipping to the Dowie, but they just lost the middle, and I think this is going to go to the forces of the High Elves. Absolutely insane game. Huge comeback here from the High Elves after what was going on in the mid-game there. Doing enough to stay in it with the good heals from Teclis. Great micro in a lot of circumstances where other people might start getting discouraged and lose focus. But Random Cuban showing his stuff here, man. Absolutely incredible work staying in this game. And securing the double cap, I don't think that there's any way for the the Chaos Dowie to get back in this. I think it's too little too late. The Renders here, in a pretty bad fight against Spearmen. These guys are really tattered and about to break, but they'll still poke in on the low armor that these guys have. God, man. High Elf Infantry with the leadership is crazy. Astrogoth might kill the dragon here, though. Doesn't matter. Absolutely massive dub for the High Elves there. Amazing game, guys. Definitely worth the wait and worth the watch there. 2276 or 2276 on the Torok. 3,200 on Astrogoth. Blunderbusses did alright. Nothing spectacular. And Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders did decently as well. But the Chaos Dowie Infantry got run over there pretty badly a couple of times. Those Kadai were great. Iron Demon, Blazing Beards, lots of stuff working well, but the heals from Teclis and the durability on the High Elf Infantry coming in clutch in the late game there. Just outlasting the Chaos Dowie magic was really all that the High Elves needed there in the late game. That really ended up being the deciding factor. No more flame storms to punish the infantry, and not really having enough tools to deal with them either kind of hurt in the late game there. Dowie infantry are just not great. They don't really clear out enemy units very efficiently. You really rely on your artillery pieces and SEs, and the Kadai Fireborn are really good at that, as you saw there. We're gonna jump in maybe to one of the replays I've got. We'll see how the bracket's shaping up. It might be almost over. That was a really long game, but we're definitely gonna try and watch the replays that I've got. Let's go ahead and jump into one. We'll go ahead and do one. We're going to risk it. Bretts versus Nurgle. We're going to do that one first. It's going to be first come, first serve on which ones we do in order. But Cathay and Lizards will be next. I really want to see that. I've never seen Cathay versus Nurgle. Also haven't seen Bretonnia versus Nurgle too terribly much. I've seen some interesting games played between the two, but it's been a minute, and I want to see how Magpie and Fallen Nephian play it out here. Now, I've played Nephian, pretty good player. We had a really close one, and very new, so you're doing good. I believe in you. You're going to do great. Just stick with the game, learn the mechanics and how it works, and you'll be in a great position.
To ensure that men of the righteous and good, whether rich or poor, triumph over evil in all forms. For Bretonnia!
Woo! Alright. We're hyped up. Raponce giving a rousing speech there. A little long-winded, in my opinion, but, you know, not everybody can be as loquacious as Valkia, which I was a little surprised by. Valkia has some of the best pre-battle speeches in the game, in my opinion. Blessed Field Trebuchet moving up. Kugath on the field. Lots of Marauders. Some Chaos Warriors mixed in here, too. Armor checking Bretonnia is a pretty good idea in general. Raponce will be good against those guys. We've got a Cultist. We've got lots of throwing axes here. These throwing axes are disgusting, man. I mean, they do quite literally throw shit-covered axes at their opponents. So you would you would figure you'd see some good stuff out of these guys. But they poison all of the Bretonnia Knights. They do armor-piercing damage on top of it. They're never going to get caught in melee with good micros, so they're pretty fanatical and oppressive in this matchup, if used properly. This Blessed Field Trebuchet, is that what's hitting these Marauders? It's doing some pretty nice damage, honestly. Let's check it out. One of the rocks hits, does some good work there. Kugath throwing in here, throwing at Men-at-Arms, though. I would throw at the Peasant Bowmen. The Bowmen are the bigger threat, in my opinion. I know you have Furies, but it's kind of scary sending Furies in against Bretonnia, because Royal Hippos and Royal Peg Knights absolutely destroy Furies. I mean, there is nothing you can do as a Fury unit fighting against these guys, and we might get an opportunity to show this off. Wardens, the Holy Wardens of La Maisental here, trying to help out the Mounted Yeoman Archers, but the Pegasus Knight's going to come in, and they're going to absolutely delete these Furies. This is what I'm talking about. The charge bonus with the magic damage, and that's a dead Fury. That's really nice catch by Fallen Ephian here. I would stay away from Kugath. He's got a Mortis engine. He's got pretty good armor. The Starfire, or the, not Starfire shafts, if only Bretonnia had access to the Starfire shafts. The Peasant Bowmen with fire arrows are going to be pretty annoying to him because they mitigate the healing by half that he has. So that's going to be nice for the Bretonians, but Furies do jump on top of these poor bowmen. You can see how quickly they got routed. The Peg Knights were a little distracted. They're getting back over. Don't charge Kugath! Go after the Furies, please. Get back and hit the Furies. Going after Kugath is a trap. This guy is impossible to kill in melee. You're wasting your time. Don't try it at home, kids. But it's going alright elsewhere. The Bretonia Knights are swarming in on the Marauders with great weapons here. These Mounted Yeomen proving their stuff, actually, sandwiching these guys with the peasant mobs, and they might break the leadership here. I'd pull back and get another cycle charge. Just go out and back in. That would be your best bet. And the Pegasus Knights have to get out of here. Please don't leave them in against Kugath. That's going to be a huge loss for the Bretonian forces if these guys don't get out. Some more Peg Knights coming out. They're going to be helping a little bit. They need to get rid of these Furies. They are going after them right now. Not having the magic damage does suck a little bit, but they've still got better stats in general. And a really nice charge bonus means they'll get rid of these guys efficiently. Bowman suffering a little bit, but this Blessed Trebuchet punishing the Marauders, actually, pretty well. Pegasus Knights chasing, though. Not a great idea chasing the throwing axes. Like I said, the AP and poison damage is pretty nice on these guys, but they do not pull back far enough, and they're going to get smacked up. You don't need many Royal Peg Knights to do anything against these fellas, and routing all of these horsemen, they're so close. Pulling back because the toads are here, there's more fury, so that's a good call, but doing some nice damage there. So that's actually pretty good for Bretonia. Rapunzel is fighting Kugath from on foot. That honestly might not be the worst idea in the world. And the Pegasus Knights landing and surrounding him. We'll see if they can start doing some good damage. Chaos Warriors, Cultist here. More Chaos Warriors just holding the line, doing great work. Mounted Yeomen. They're doing their best to secure some battlefield control, and the number 3, number 2, and maybe even the number 1 are going to be flipping to Bretonia here. Fallen Ephian playing a very fast and loose game against Nurgle, which I really like. Maybe getting aggressive there in the opening. I was a little skeptical, but actually working down Kugath here. He's up to 2,500 value. He's gonna get... Oh, he's getting a fat, fleshy abundance right now, though. Pull out of combat real quick before the throwing axes start destroying your Pegasus Knights here. If you can do that, then maybe you can start getting something going. Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis gonna flatten these Chaos Warriors. They're getting... They've got Impetuous, and the Fleur-de-Lis banner is going off on them. 54-46 is pretty nasty. They're gonna wreck these guys in combat now. Actually overlapping their melee defense pretty effectively. Unfortunately for the Bretonians, the Pegasus Knights have been dealt with. They've gotten pretty good value, though. These Pegasus Knights may be a little less so, but they've got a little bit of health left. Where's the healer? Is the healer online? Oh, no, the damsel's back here. Okay. Get a regrowth on these Pegasus Knights. They've got 14 models. They can take a little bit of healing. That'd be really nice. Oh, the Furies got on top of the Blessed Field Trebuchet. Oh, huge catch for Magpie here in the mid game. Getting rid of that is going to be nice. Going to be really nice for Nurgle, taking a lot of pressure off of their skirmish and infantry elements. But outside of Kugath, it's looking a little worse for wear for Nurgle, honestly. The defenders here basically finishing off these Chaos Warriors, but getting out of this combat and looping around and maybe getting after the #1 objective again. Although there's all these horsemen here, you can't really go after that. Get out right now before they start wrecking these horsemen, and find somewhere else to go. Support the #3 if possible. Get these mounted yeoman archers to go counter-skirmish even, and make sure that the Holy Wardens don't run off the point here. Having good objective control and not overextending is one of the keys to success in Dom. So nice job. Before overextending too far, routing back to the objective to hold. Needs help on the #2. It's starting to get real dicey out here. There's Chaos Warriors of Nurgle coming out. Chaos Knights of Nurgle, I mean. Coming in, wrecking those mounted yeomen. They're getting a huge rear charge into all of the Bretonnians on the #2 objective here, and this might be where the rout starts. The Cultist is fighting Rapunz, and Rapunz is so close to breaking. Oh, she's at -1 leadership. Is she going to rally? Just stay in combat here. Oh, no, but there's another Cultist waddling over. Oh, man. Desperately needs a heal here. Sword of Leoness active on her. She's gonna be an absolute menace to these foot cultists, but fighting them 2-on-1 is not great. They'll definitely be able to handle her if they get the 2v1. Earthblood does go down, but it's not in time. Rapunz is routing, losing all of that melee attack and leadership that she's providing now is pretty devastating. And Nurgle's starting to overlap in terms of value now. Definitely looking like Nurgle might take control of this game here. Men-at-arms, peasant mobs moving up onto the #1, but these Pestigors are going to take them to task. It's going to be a huge loss here. Rapunz also died. They don't even get an opportunity to fight. They just break immediately. Word of their lord's death, spreading panic through the ranks, and the rout is on. All across the field here, Bretonnians are taking to the hills. No knight support either. And the peasants, can the center hold? I don't think so. There's no way to get rid of these cultists really now. Kugath, 4,500 value on this guy. Absolutely carrying the game. Rapunz not on a horse? It's more likely than you would think. The Rapunz infantry blob is actually pretty strong. Damsel fighting against a cultist. You gotta give it up for this caster. Very brave stuff here. Trying to deal with this guy. Tree's getting in the way. She's got a sword and a little staff. And, oh, I didn't notice the way she rides the horse. We love it. Very, very interesting. Fun stuff. Oh, come on. I'm curious to see how this combat plays out. I do think that Bretonnia is pretty cooked. There's Plague Ogres on the field now. Kugath is going to be impossible to kill, and the #3 is going to get secured. The Furies came in, and they have cleared out the Holy Wardens from this objective. Pestigors are going to take it. And, yeah, Nurgle about to overlap Bretonnia here. Foot Squires are getting Mortis Engine down, and the Chaos Knights are riding through everything. 165 kills and only 800 value. Yeah. Fascinating stuff. They're just providing some nice battlefield control. They've killed a couple mounted yeomen and mopped up some routing units. They're fighting the Knights of the Lionhearted, though, so definitely going to be losing this combat. How does Bretonnia get back in this game? I don't think they can. I mean, they just don't have anything on the field left at this point. All of the infantry here are going to get Mortis Engined into oblivion. 5,500 value on Kugath is, yep. That's why you bring him. You bring him for this. If he doesn't get sniped out, he's going to absolutely carry a game for you. 522 kills. And climbing. Never let anybody tell you that you can't bring Kugath. Don't let anybody say big SEs are not good in Dom. They absolutely are. They can absolutely do work and carry a game for you. Oh man, those fire arrows were doing great work against him in the early game. Maybe if they had just been able to get saved by the diving Furies That's harder to do than you would think, but maybe keeping the mounted yeomen that were summoned out in the early game closer into the formation and pushing the lane where Kugath was would have been a little bit more tactically sound, I guess. But that's talking with the benefit of hindsight. Actually playing in the matches, you never really know what's going to work until you try it. And these guys have been making a really good go of it. Bretonnia doing a pretty good job of staying in the game for quite a while, but getting mopped up here in the late going by Kugath now. 6,400. Is he going to eclipse 7,000 value? I would love to see it. That would be incredible. I do have a replay up where an Exalted Great Unclean One gets 7,500 value against vampire counts. That's pretty insane. Kugath, a little jealous, I think, and wanting to prove to Grandfather Nurgle that there's a reason he's the favored one in the menagerie, so to speak. Fetid Brewmaster. You gotta love the nicknames for a lot of the legendary lords, man. Plague Ogres getting on top of the damsel. This damsel, plucky as hell, going after cultists and all kinds of stuff, not really giving a flip. Actually, maybe even killing that cultist. One of the cultists is gone. I don't know if the damsel won that fight or not. That would be pretty insane. But yeah, the cultists, Plague Ogres running around, and it's just kicking time at this point, I think, for the forces of Nurgle. Bringing out some bows, putting a little pressure on. Peasant mobs and battle pilgrims coming out onto the field, and Kugath continuing to feast. We're just going to get in here and get some close-ups. Oh my goodness. I love the animations that the toads have. They're so chaotic, dude. I mean, they're one of the most disruptive anti-infantry tools in the game, honestly. The way that they hop around, it, like, amplifies the mass that they have, so they seem to be weightier than they otherwise would be. Especially when they're doing these, like, leaping attacks that you're seeing right now. Chaos Knights rallying. Getting back in here, doing some good work against the battle pilgrims here. Toad's coming in to support, Pestigor's on top, and, yeah, you know, having a sledgehammer and a rusty little bill hook, definitely not going to be enough for you. So, well played, Nurgle, and Mischievous Magpie. Fallen Effian doing a really nice go of it there, but maybe lacking a little bit of battlefield control there. Could have gotten a lot more out of those fire arrows. And the Blessed Field Trebuchet getting sniped out by Furies. You gotta be very aware when playing against Chaos that Fury pressure is ever present. They're pretty nasty, and they can do some really good work in a short period of time. They didn't get anything insane here, to be quite honest. 1,000 on a summon is really nice, though. 1,100 on the Cultists. Those guys were pretty awesome. Kugath, man, I mean, what can you say? I mean, almost 700 kills, 6,800 value. You cannot feed infantry in against this guy. He will absolutely roll you if you do that. So, something to keep in mind. What would be worth bringing? I'm not 100% sure. I think not bringing the, I don't think the Mounted Yeomen are amazing here, but I do think they have some good utility that Fire Arrow Bowmen don't have, in that they can go around and counter-skirmish the mounted throwing axes. So if you are going to bring the fire bows, I think you just go all in on those, bring as many as you can, and if you're not going to be bringing the, if you're not going to bring max fire bows, then you just bring the Mounted Yeomen to counter-skirmish and control the throwing axes. And then you just have to play off of the objectives that Kugath is on and maneuver around the battlefield. You saw some of that in the early going, but Bretonnia just really, really started to lose steam as the infantry and Reponse and a lot of the other tools started getting shut down. Alright. We're going to back out here for a minute, guys. Let's go take a look at the bracket, see how it's shaping up. We've got the next round going now. Saving another replay. I wonder if everybody is in-game. If they're in-game, I can just get some more replays and cast them that way. It'll be a little bit more consistent as well, since we won't have to deal with the hackerness of CA's terrible lobbies. But once we get to semis and grand finals, I'll just focus in on those so that we can see all the games. Who would be worth watching? Anybody, really. We might go watch Scarbrand play again. Doing really well in the bracket so far. And playing... Who are we playing? Toad Killer. Okay. Toad Killer's out here with 1 win. It might be in game. So let's actually go and check out this Grand Cathay versus Lizards build. I think this is going to be worth watching. We can just get replays from people, and they can keep dropping them in here. And I can keep speccing these until it's time for the semis and grands. I actually think that might be a fun way of doing this. That way there's no downtime, and we can just get the best of the best, while also showing off as many people as possible until the finals. File Explorer. The moving the replays around is a little haggard at times. I need to set up a quicker path. Please move. There we go. Okay. Done with that. Grand Cathay versus Lizards here, kicking it off at the perfect time. We've got Zhao Ming on foot right now, but does have Transformation, Final Transmutation, and Plague of Rust. Bringing, you know, a mix of spells. Dragon's Breath, of course. Very nice utility on that thing. Destroys Chameleon Skinks. That is one of the best chaff-clearing tools in the entire game. It does nasty damage, Overcast. Vambraces, Burning Vambraces are here. So Zhao Ming's going to be hard to deal with for the Lizards. Not a lot of AP missiles on the field right now. The Skink cohorts will just tickle them a little bit. Chameleon Skinks, they're chilling on the number 3, taking this objective. And Grand Cannon's opening up already for the forces of Cathay. Nailing the Saurus Spear, killing 10 models already. That's pretty nice. You like to see that. Getting a little bit more poke in there. Another 4 models falling. I wonder how Grand Cathay is going to utilize this thing to get after the Fire Slan here. Interesting choice. Just bringing Burning Head. There's a lot of armor on Jade Warriors. They really benefit from having all that against Burning Head. And counter-firing the Chameleon Skinks right now with the cannon. Pretty good choice, honestly. I really don't hate that. Getting some good effective fire. Jade Warrior Crossbowman coming out. Peasant Long Spears providing the harmony here. Very good job of taking full use of that. Ooh! You'd hate to be under fire from these things. The absolute intensity of the cannons in this game is wonderful to hear. I don't know if you've ever heard one of these cannons being like fired IRL, like a Civil War era artillery piece, but they are unbelievably loud. I mean, absolutely deafening cacophony. Wrecking some more Sauruses, getting good pressure going on the infantry in the early game. That's actually a pretty effective use of these cannons. The Stegodons are in range, though, and shooting at them would be very cost-effective. Jade Warriors can hold against these Saurus Spears all day, so I think maybe focusing in on the Stegos now is a good idea. Coldwind Riders are starting to just loop around your exposed flank here. They're getting on top of these Jade Warrior crossbows. Ooh, nasty charge. Absolutely amazing stuff there. Oh, and these are the Cudgel variant. They do not have the spears, but that's not too bad. They still have great charge bonus and good armor-piercing values on them. Saurus Warriors, tired of getting shot at for free, so they're going to go fight the Halberds here, which is a pretty even fight, honestly. Ooh, nasty work on the Slan Mage here. Taking a full volley from the cannons here. Gotta get this guy out of here. Find somewhere for him to sit. I think the trees can block those cannon shots, and Ironhill Gunners getting close in. Looking like they might want to go fire at them. Need to push them up a little bit more, and a Burning Head coming in, but not doing much. And this guy is getting dumpstered by those cannons right now. Gotta get him away. Zhao Ming looking nice and healthy, honestly. Done a lot of work against these Saurus Spears here. Dropping any magic, doesn't look like it yet. This would be a good target for Dragon's Breath. But, maybe trying to find a good Final Transmutation cast. And the Slan Priest might be dead and gone here in just a moment. Cathay absolutely brutalizing the Lizards so far with these great cannons, man. Really good targeting for the most part. I don't love shooting the Saurus Spears still. But they are turning to shoot the Stegodons now, and get rid of these anti-infantry beasties. Onyx Crowman getting absolutely smacked down, though, by the Javelins here. The Chameleon Skink showing their stuff. No slouches in combat like this. They're going to get some good fire on the Jade Warriors' flanks. The Slan Mage Priest, though, is dead already. Might die outright. Ooh. KO'd, man. KO'd by these cannons. Absolutely outstanding work with those artillery pieces. 1466 on this one. The Stegodon is running. Jade Warrior crossbows getting taken out by the Colossedon Hunters, but that's not bad. And a great cannon shot, just KOing like almost 10 models on the Coldwind Riders there, while the Colossedon Hunters are getting focused down by these cannons as well. And I think the Lizards are going to be finding it pretty quickly getting out of hand from this point. They do have the objective advantage, but Cathay has decently healthy infantry to push up onto the points and secure these objectives. The Great Cannons are uncontested at this point. There's absolutely nothing threatening these guys, and they're just going to continue to tee off on the Stegodons, who have been lackluster. Definitely not paying for themselves. So a really nice call bringing these cannons in. Iron Hails also doing a little bit of work, I imagine. Yeah, about 500 value on these guys. They've definitely got a good volley off somewhere. Zhao Ming, it has been taking a little bit of damage, but, you know, did drop down here into human form. We're going to see how this goes. What is he dropping? Like, you change into human form as Zhao Ming to do what, exactly? Does he get cap weight when he's on the ground? He does get cap weight. Wow, okay. So, getting a little extra cap weight. Very nice play there to help secure that objective. Son of Heaven making some really nice plays out here. Onyx Crowman hovering above, escorting some skinks off the field, I suppose. Just keep hounding those guys, I guess. Cannons teeing off on the Chameleon Skinks now that they're revealed again. 2,000 value. Oh no, but this one's getting dove on by the Colossedon Hunters. Jade Lancers, save these guys, please, please, please. Ooh, come on. Microing elsewhere, obviously. Trying to secure the forward ground here. Absolutely disgusting Dragon Breath. Amazing cast, 1,200 value. Pretty much, like, took this skink cohort down to half health. You really couldn't ask for anything more out of a spell like that. It's so cheap, too. I mean, it's, what, non-magic to delete chaff, basically. You gotta like that. Great tool piece. Iron Hail Gunners, they're up here. They're getting a little bit of fire on these Saurus spears and warriors here. Jade crossbowmen, decently healthy, gotten pretty good value so far, shooting at the javelin cohorts as they run away. And Empress's crowmen out here on the field, but getting attacked by the regular variant of Ripperdactyls, who are going to absolutely roll these guys. Did they go fight the other crowmen? It looks like they did. Now they're after the ROR crowmen, which is a really good call. Definitely going to get some value back, but, you know, these Ripperdactyls are very squishy, so Jade Warriors are going to do some pretty gnarly damage to them, even in, you know, not even a very prolonged combat. And the crossbows overlapping some fire into this battle here as well. And the leadership coming into question for these guys since the Lord is dead, and they are going to rout. That's very unfortunate. I can't help but feel like the Fire Mage is just not the play here. But man, the Colossedon Hunters are just mopping up the Grand Cannons back here. Son of Heaven securing a nice lead in the early going, but kind of lapsing here in the late game. Not dealing with the Colossedon Hunters who have gotten all the cannons offline. I don't think that Lizardmen have a chance. But who knows? I mean, maybe they can make something happen. There are some Saurus Spears routing out here. Decently healthy warriors and spears here. Another Saurus warrior in the middle ground. Get on top of the Jade Bows, I suppose. This is kind of a hard position for a unit like this. Don't really have many options. We'll see if the Slant Priest can maybe get some magic going to make a difference, but big MVPs for the Lizardmen. The Colossedon Hunters just diving in and doing a lot of damage with only 3 bottles left. Kind of crazy. Like to see it. Grand Cannon crew back here. They're alive. They could rally. They can get back onto their pieces. I think this one is dead. This one's dead. They've got 2 pieces left, though, so 2 cannons is still a decent amount of shooting. Certainly going to do good work against the Slan Mage if it comes out of the forest here.
I knew it.
And yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Unfortunate for the Lizardmen. Kind of outbuilt here. The cannons just active way too long for the lizards to trade efficiently. Once the Stegodons got focused down by these cannons, it was pretty much over, and losing the Lord to the cannons as well. So, gotta be prepared. You have to account for artillery factions having artillery. It is kind of just the way the cookie crumbles in this game. Sometimes you don't quite have the tools you need, but, you know, I find that most factions and situations can usually find a way. But I think getting rid of the Fire Priest is the call here. Don't love him in this matchup. I'm trying to think of what would be good here. I mean, Gorok might not be bad, honestly. Gorok might be pretty decent in this matchup. Or Nakai. Nakai is big, but not huge. So he can get into the front line and do some decent damage and not get rolled. Did I save this one already? I do believe I did. Just dropping something in here. We're going to jump back in. I've got a few more replays now. So, alright guys. Y'all want to see a High Elf Mirror, or Demons of Chaos versus Khorne, or we could watch Vampire Coast versus Bretonnia. Let me know, guys. I'm very curious what y'all want to see. I'm fine doing any and all. If I don't get an answer in the next minute, then I'm going to end up picking. So I'll give y'all a little bit of time here. Okay. Alright, let's jump into the Khorne versus Demons of Chaos. We'll see how this goes. Gotta make sure that we don't end up missing semis and the like. I think it is actually only 3 rounds, so... The end of this round will be the top 4, I think, after this. Yep. Alright, guys. So we've got a Demon Prince of Khorne flying up in the sky here. We've got a couple of Minotaurs. We've got 3 Minotaurs. Oh, wow, yeah. Very heavy metal. We've got the Khorne Marauder of Dual Axe Frontline, which isn't bad against Demons of Chaos because, you know, low armor everywhere on the field. Pretty punishing. Got an Iridescent Horror with Transmutation and Searing Doom. Honestly, a really nice spell kit against Khorne. Red Olgor, man. Red Olgor out here maybe going to make some big plays. This guy is absolutely awesome. I wish he was on the Khorne roster. Why? Why doesn't Khorne get Red Olgor? He would probably be the second most viable Lord behind Valkia. Just because of the Gore Feast on this guy, actually giving him a little bit of durability in a lot of circumstances. And if he gets low, the nice thing about having Gore Feast on Khorne is you can chase routing units and just heal for free. It's really nice. It's pretty great. Demon Prince of Khorne in the sky. You rarely see this guy get used. Does have Deathbringer, which absolutely packs a wall up, man. I mean, the bonus versus infantry on this guy in conjunction with Deathbringer. He can absolutely wreck foot characters. I don't know why you bring him here, per se, because you got a lot of big flying lord options for Demons of Chaos, but maybe going to use this guy to go after stuff like the pink, or the Blazing Squealers. I thought these were the Sour Guts. Okay. I actually really love this. Conduit of Infinity gives them replenished ammo, which is pretty good, actually. I think you can use it on themselves and on something else, I'm pretty sure is how it works. The Demon Prince is indeed jumping back here on top of the Blazing Squealers. We've got a huge engage all across the front line. We've got the Festering Stooges wandering right up into combat, getting run over by a Blood Shrine of Khorne, which isn't half bad, but a massive Final Transmutation coming down. Not the Overcast variant. That would have been a little bit more efficient. And oh no, the Iridescent Horror is getting surrounded here. Getting hit by all these Furies. Oh my god, and the Demon Prince of Khorne. Is he a small... No, he is a large target, but the Deathbringer ability, man. 832 weapon strength. And the Iridescent Horror is dead already. Wow. Getting rid of the healing, or the magic in a heartbeat. Scarbrand all over Incognito right now. Red Olgor struggling a little bit, and the Minotaurs... Bulls on parade, man. Absolutely wrecking this front line, charging through and getting damage wherever they want for free. And these dual weapon warriors trading evenly into Plague Bearers. Wow, man. Overwhelming Festering Stooges. All the passive healing in the world is not going to do you any good against this many targets. I love to see the Blood Shrine here. Red Olgor is going after the Blood Shrine, but there are Minotaurs here. Minotaurs are going to do sick, nasty damage to this guy if he does not get out of here. It's not a great combat for him to sit here and fight it. Oh yeah, you thought that he had Gore Feast as well. I wish that the Demon Prince of Khorne had Gore Feast. I mean, if this Demon Prince has it, why can't this one? But I guess the developers... I guess CA thinks that Gore Feast on Lords is going to be too strong for some reason. I don't think it would be too crazy, honestly. If you're not going to give the Khorne Lords Gore Feast, then give them passive missile resistance. You know, like 25 missile resistance on the Demon Prince and Exalted Bloodthirster and Scarbrand would make those guys a lot more viable. Not that they can't be played, but they do tend to struggle in a lot of matchups, and it would help up the variance on the Lord choices, because right now it's mostly Valkia and sometimes the Exalted Bloodthirster and Scarbrand. And I would really like to see that change just a little bit, but just to go back to the game, Incognito is pulling it back a little bit, but being swarmed by all these Minos is pretty nasty stuff, and the the frontline fight, the Festering Stooges are dead, the Blood Shrine, it is dealt with, and there are a lot of pinks out doing some pretty nasty damage to the very exposed Bloodletters and Dual Axes here. Is there any chance? Is there a chance here? Red Olgor's out here harrying some Throwing Axemen. Not great for them, because they do have, you know, those really nasty missiles. You can see how much damage they do there, man. Pretty crazy stuff. Fleshhounds here of Khorne fighting against some Furies of Nurgle. And some Nurglings out here. Maybe help out the old Olgor here. Doing his best to escape. The Demon Prince, man, just making his way around. Oh, the Blood Shrine's here. Really nice control in the Blood Shrine. I thought I got shot down by the Blazing Squealers for some reason, but not so. Running over Furies, providing those buffs, dude. This thing is so good. Blood Shrines are the most underrated unit in the game, in my opinion. Right there alongside Skull Cannons, there's a lot of viability in some of the less used Cornate Force units that I don't think get enough appreciation, quite honestly. I'd love to see some more techs from Khorne players to make the most effect out of some of the less used tools. Good tips to improve micro. Sorry, I just saw that. Just play games. Just play games, man. That's how you improve micro. Because what's going on? You look at what's happening in a battle, and you think, oh, I got wrecked. I'm not on top of what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm bad. I suck. But it's not that at all. There's so much information to absorb in this game. There are 24 factions. I don't even know how many units. How many units are even in this freaking game? Like 600 plus or something, probably? Like unique variants of units. So you're absorbing a lot of information coming into this game, and the more you play games, the better you're going to get at recognizing opportunities to jump on top of enemy units. That's the biggest thing. Pure APM is nice, you know, but making broader, more strategic moves is where you're going to get the best effect in this game. And over time, you're going to get better at knowing when and where you can take engagements, when and where you can position your units. These Seekers are wrecking these Chaos Furies right now, which is pretty good. These Fleshhounds, you could collapse in there with those Fleshhounds onto the rear of those Seekers and just absolutely destroy them, but yeah, going after the Blazing Squealers isn't bad. These guys have good combat stats, though. It might be a little difficult for the Fleshhounds. Minotaurs, they're going to flatten the Seekers here if they don't get away. But good micro getting those guys out of there. And Incognito, you know, keeping it a little bit close and entertaining here in the late game. The Sour Guts, I'm sure they got their value. This is one of the most consistent units in the game, because they literally can get their value back if you get them killed. It's kind of crazy, actually. I've never really seen a unit perform so well dying before. But they're showing their stuff here. They got some pretty good shots in with their missiles, and now just exploding on death. They have that Sour Discharge ability that does 72 all armor-piercing damage to what they're fighting. The Fleshhounds actually did flatten the Blazing Squealers there, which is pretty nice. That's a very expensive unit. These guys have 2,000 value on them. I need to check those out sometime. But yeah, just to go back to the micro, Play games, find some people that you enjoy playing with, and most importantly, find, like, 1, 2, maybe 3 factions that you really enjoy and stick with them. That can be hard, so if you don't have a faction that you just absolutely click with, like, I love Khorne, that's my main, I'm always going to main Khorne, favorite faction in the game, but if you don't have a faction like that yet, just keep playing around until you find one. You're going to have a moment where something just clicks in your brain, and you say, this is it, this is what I want to play, and this is how I want to play them. Having a playing style is also really important. You know, you can do a lot in this game with build variants. And bringing stuff that might seem off-meta can actually end up paying off really well. So it's worth playing around with stuff and being curious about the game. It's not heresy. I mean, isn't that the soul of the Chaos factions anyways? Enjoying Tzeentch as well as Khorne is true Chaos adherence. After all, undivided Chaos is the way, right? All of the Dark Gods deserve worship. So yeah, the Demon Prince of Khorne, doing a good job with this guy, just jumping in and not taking too much damage on him. This is the most effective Demon Prince micro I've ever seen, by the way, so really well done, Scarbrand. I've got to give it up to you for using this guy well. I am starting to change my opinion on him a little bit after watching some people use him a little more. And certainly after this, I mean, absolutely wrecked that Iridescent Horror. You know, does have decent stats, and the bonus versus infantry is nice against really elite stuff. So I can see where he might be good in some matchups. Fleshhounds getting roasted out. They did some okay damage to the Sour Guts, and the Furies diving on the Blue Horrors, wrecking these little guys.
One of your units has been destroyed.
Holding the outside. I don't think... Yeah, demons are a little cooked here. So we're going to fast forward through the rest of this one. And we'll get into something else. We'll go see if there's any more replays for me to watch. I do believe there's a couple. Okay, we got a couple more. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Okay, guys, keep them coming. We'll do this. Okay. What do when the game crashes? When you crash in-game, you kind of have to just call it as it is most of the time. Like, if somebody is winning and someone crashes, then the person who was winning gets the dub, but if you just keep crashing out, it usually ends up being a draw. Alright guys, let's go take a little peek at the bracket. It should be about over, if it's not already. One more game, we're going to chill here. I don't want to do it. I would do another replay, but I don't want to pass up on... I don't want to pass up on semis or finals by accident. What factions can you play without having any DLC? Right now, you can play... if you want the best faction to play without any DLC, I would say Khorne. Khorne has, like, a lot of really fun tools. Khorne is not a top-tier faction by any means, but you've got some really cool stuff here. I mean, Valkia is one of the best lords in the entire game. Probably, if not the best, then certainly in the top of, like, S-tier for lords. Lots of good utility. Demon Shield, only units have invulnerability in the game. Sleipnir is great. Kislev is awesome, but Kislev does get banned a lot, so if you don't want to get banned, Khorne. Tzeentch is good, even without the DLC. You know, DLC did give Tzeentch a lot of fun tools, but base Tzeentch is still pretty enjoyable. What else? Who else do you get? You get Nurgle. Nurgle kind of is reliant on a lot of the units that they got in the DLC. So, base Nurgle, not very good. DLC Nurgle, very good. Slaanesh is really solid. Probably always will be, even if they never got a DLC, but they totally are. Oh yeah, shit, Valkia is DLC, isn't she? Alright, well never mind. You've still got the Exalted Bloodthirster. He's fun, he can do some good work. The Herald's fun on the bike. Very underrated, this guy. Very cheap, and gets a lot of stuff to buff your front lines up. Demons are best, no DLC. True. I forgot about Champions of Chaos. So, that's my bad. Slaanesh did get some stuff in the Champions of Chaos. So maybe they're not the best choice, so don't listen to me. Listen to Scarbrand down here. He knows what's up. Demons are good. And what else? That's about it. Yeah. Alright. Khorne still, even without Valkia, is fun. You still get all the fun stuff like Skull Cannons and Shrines, which are very underrated. You've got good monsters, decent roster across the board. Man, you don't get the ROR Hounds, though, without the DLC, do you? Are the RORs part of the DLC? They're free, right? They have to be. I'm pretty sure they are. Heralds of Khorne's Fury are a very underrated unit. They're fun. So, I would just get Warhammer 3 and just play all the factions. Not having the DLC is rough a little bit, but a lot of the units are still very viable. The only one that I would be hesitant to play would be Nurgle. The healing on the Nurgle roster is amazing, and you can do some great stuff, but you don't get Plague Ogres, you don't get, I mean, the Rot Knights are kind of bad, but Bile Trolls missing sucks. Toad Dragon, you can do some fun stuff with that, but not super viable. Maybe I'm discounting Nurgle a little too much. They might be fine without the DLC, honestly. Cathay, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Scarbrand. I appreciate it. I know more about the in-game mechanics than I do about the DLCs and everything. I'm trying to give you good advice, but now I'm just flubbing it at this point. So listen to Scarbrand. You don't get ROR Berserkers, Bloodbrute, and Knights of the Blazing Throne. That's so strange. Okay. What an odd collection of units to not have access to. Stand by. As soon as their game is over, we will get top 4. Cool. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk some more in Discord just to get set up for semis and grands. I will be live casting semis and grands here. Cool. Oh my god. I don't want to have to turn this stupid fan back on, but it's so freaking hot up here. It's brutal. Sitting in a pool of sweat. I'm in Michigan. It's September. Can it please? It's almost September. Can it please cool down? I'm begging you. I'm dying here. You want to check out some of the Khorne builds I've got? Let's do that while we're waiting. I've made a bunch over the time I've been playing the game. Some of them are a little outdated at this point, but, like this one. How am I 100 over? Something got changed around. But yeah, you've got some fun stuff you can do. Man, oh man. That's a lot to... I don't know why I'm putting chevrons on the Skull Cannon, or the Soul Grinders there. Soul Grinders are pretty fun for Khorne. They can do some pretty cheesy stuff. They've got really good melee attack, and they have wicked collision damage on infantry. I don't know what it is. If you get a side charge with these guys, they'll run over stuff. What do you do against a steam tank as Khorne? Cry. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm trying to figure that out myself. Minos stop the steam tank, but if your opponent just pops heals on the steam tank, it's going to be hard to kill it. You've got throwing axes and Minos, and on paper, you've got a lot of tools against it, but in reality, all of your answers for the steam tank are so vulnerable to missiles. Outriders, pistoliers, huntsmen, archers. All of these things are really nice at shooting minotaurs and your other answers. So, I don't know what you do. The steam tanks just need a nerf. They are so strong right now. It is oppressive. Like, I think that the biggest gripe I have with the steam tank, where the hell are Empire? It's time to rant. It's time we talked about the steam tank. Where's the... Here it is. My biggest problem is the Master Engineer. I mean, you don't even need restock, obviously. You just bring this guy on the steam tank. He's 2,800. He's got pigeon bombs. And he sits on top of that damn grenade launcher. And he just blows up cavalry and Minos and fleshhounds and whatever you dive on top of them with. So he actually just counters everything. He's got crazy mass, so he can push through just about everything. And he just runs over your front line. And if Khorne can't win the infantry engagements or break the battlefield up and get a big advantage on Empire, you lose. You just lose. The the Master Engineer on the steam tank is stupid broken, in my opinion. The regular steam tank, though, I don't mind letting people bring the regular variants. They're very powerful. All the same things apply, but they don't get pigeon bombs, and they don't have the grenade launcher guy on top. Those are the two big factors. Plus, you don't get your Lord on the steam tank. You don't get Unbreakable on your Lord with 8,000 something, 9,000 health. And then you have to bring a Lord, and then you have to also pay for the Jade Wizard, which makes it much more balanced. Then it's actually fair, I think. Otherwise, you're just going to see this guy in every matchup. There's no reason not to bring this guy on the tank in every single match he plays Empire, pretty much. He's so good that he is great against Wood Elves, who have amazing shooting and amazing AP. But the missile block chance of 70% from the front is next level silly. Unit use cases and power level compared to other factions. There's a mod. Let me go out. Let me back out of here. I'll see if I can show it to you. There's a mod that I use to do all my testing. We need to keep an eye out for top 4. There's a mod that you can install, Daniel, that enables you to pick any unit in land battles as the Lord, and then you can do one-on-one comparisons yourself. That's how I would recommend it. It's nice to know what stuff wins in one-on-ones. Labbing is wildly underrated in this game. You should go in and experiment with units in just a like one-on-one environment, and then just like layering stuff on top of one another to see how it improves against supposed counters. Give me a sec. Give me the money. How do I show my I need to set this up before I do anything. So I'll show you the mod I'm talking about later. But that's what I would recommend. Find a mod that enables you to do one-on-one unit testing and see for yourself. But I'm sure there's some people out there with some better stuff than I do. I'm working on learning video editing so that I can do more unit guides and actual faction guide builds. I don't know when I'll be putting that stuff up. It just depends on how long it takes me to get a handle on using the editing software that I'm working with. And then maybe I can get you something out that will give you a little bit of a better idea for how stuff works against one another. Who are we going to spectate here? Semis and grands are on the way. We have spectated Random Cuban already, so maybe we'll do the other match so that everybody can get a little bit of time in the sun. Yeah, let's do Christopher's and Ash 07.
That is my good.
Excuse me, guys. Okay. Boom. Let's get away from that. We'll let these guys pick their forces, get everything going, see what's going on. If you're just joining, we're in semis and grands now. We're going to be seeing how these guys shake it out for the last few games of this SFT, this beginner SFT. There have been some great games. And then there have been, you know, kind of what you expect when you're watching people who are starting out. Some people, you know, not quite knowing what to do against certain types of units and getting run over by some of the big SEs. We watched Bretonia Nurgle matchup where Kugath got 7,000 value almost. That's really painful to watch. But, you know, that is how you learn in this game. Losing is your best teacher, after all. I fully stand behind that. It is really discouraging, though, at times. But sticking with it is going to be really quick for how to improve rapidly. Because as a new player, your jump from being like a beginner to the intermediate level is pretty huge. And then from there, refining your play, refining your faction knowledge and matchup knowledge is what gets you to, like, you know, being a tourney winner. Like, let's go take a look at the leaderboard. You know, and I'll kind of talk to you about it. So, you know, up here you've got like Circia, you know, Nerexa, Alexander, Charix, Scrambled Egg, Sawarv, Tim the Wilder. These are like the best players in the community by far, out of Region 2. And then, you know, Ulrich and Catholic Alcoholic just won the most recent tournament. Just doesn't have as many wins right now. So anybody in the top 10 is amazing. Anybody with any kind of tournament win is pretty amazing at the game as stands, you know. But once you get down to about here where I'm at, like, I'm good. I can take a game off a lot of people, but I struggle against some of these top players, you know. So I'm still trying to get to the same level as all these folks, because the jump from being up here to being where I'm at is pretty huge, you know? Like, that's a whole nother ball game of top tier players. Sawarv has been on a tear, man. Oh my goodness. 3 tournament wins. Only 4 losses, too. Win rates don't always mean much either, you know? Like, people play lots of different factions and learn them as they go, so they kind of fluctuate. But if you're winning tournaments, that's pretty awesome. It's a really fun feeling to finally get your first one. I got my first tourney win after many, many tries this season, so I'm happy with the one. I need to play more, though. I need to refine a little bit more, because right now I'm not playing super well. I've got a lot of losses lately. But I just kind of go through periods when I can't play that much, and then I come back. I play a little rusty. I pick it up usually. But it's that consistency that I'm after. Alright, guys. They're picking factions. I have y'all looking away, so I'm going to actually take a look at the builds so far. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Sure. This is going to be a wild-ass game, guys. I'll be sure to swap it back when it's time, but, I really just want to look at this. There's some magnificence happening here. It's going to be Chaos Dwarfs versus Empire, which is a really fun matchup. Each of those factions has some pretty good tools against one another. They're both in the same ballpark in terms of where I think they are in, like, the faction rankings. You know, like, let's go look at stats. Let's talk about Empire versus Dowie. Chaos Dowie specifically. I mean, there's been 2 games played, and it's even, so not a lot to go off of, but I've seen this matchup a handful of times. I've watched some replays of it, and it seems to swing pretty heavily in favor of one or the other, just depending on builds, oftentimes. You've got a lot of artillery on each side. You know, stuff like Death Shriekers, Magma Cannons, Empire Great Cannons, and War Wagons are okay against Chaos Dowie. They can be a little risky if there's Death Shrieks. You've got Luminarks, you've got some other fun stuff that can snipe out Chaos Dowie stuff. And the Dowie have really high-quality infantry that Empire can struggle to deal with. We'll see if they struggle in this instance, because it might be kind of crazy working it out. Alright, I'm back, guys. Had to go away for a minute. End of season allergies are starting to get to me. It's very annoying. So, suffering through it, but we're going to jump into this game. Let me swap it back over, because y'all are going to have an absolute fit when you see the build for the Empire. It is pretty otherworldly. I don't think there's any better way to put it than that. Good old Bordello Landing. One of the other, like, top-tier maps on a Total Tavern, man. I'm saying, the map makers, the community map makers are so freaking good. Like, they have some maps out here that just blow my mind every time I see them. Like, awesome sense of scale, and then lots of fun terrain. You know, some shot blockers and, you know, forests to hide in here. You've got this big flank available for both sides. You just really love to see people who get in there and get really passionate about making stuff work, making stuff happen. Oh man, okay, so... Oh, here they are. Okay, so there's 2 Death Shriekers over here for the Chaos Dowie. There's Astrogoth and the Torok. We've seen that already from Christopher's. Played a really close game against the High Elves with a very similar build, a little different. But the Empire army is literally 5 units. it's Elspeth on the Dragon. We've got a Luminarch here, the Luminarch of Heish. You know, ROR with the Net of Amontok, passive ward save with the if the miss wins are greater, and power recharge rate, lowering the recharge rate for all casters on the field. But Astrogoth doesn't care that much about it, I guess. He's still good in melee. He's still got pretty cheap spells to use. But there's a steam tank here and 1 unit of infantry. 1 singular Free Company militia. So I'm not sure how Empire is going to make this happen, but they're seemingly determined to. Spirit Leech is going to be really nice for working down Astrogoth and the Torok. I would probably go after the Torok first. Although, I don't know, man. Who do you go for? I think Coruscating Blast is still pretty good against largest targets, so maybe shooting the Centaur with Coruscating Blast is a good idea. Although, looks like Elspeth might just be going after the Death Shrieks, who are firing their gigantic rockets. These things will do nasty damage if they hit her. She's in the trees, though, and totally miss. Oh, no, that's devastating. Missing out on the damage from the Death Shriekers is very unfortunate. Great decision keeping her up in here, though, from Christopher's. I wouldn't have... Or, from Ash. I wouldn't have expected these Death Shriekers to miss as badly as they are, but she gets within the range. But great call of the Infernal Guard Iron Glaive, or the Fire Glaives here. Gonna do nasty work against her. Coruscating Blast comes in and just absolutely roasts this poor Death Shriek rocket, but it's only down to half health. Spirit Leech comes in, and taking some nasty shots on the way out is Elspeth, so pretty even in terms of the value, but Elspeth does have access to healing. She has the Death's Timekeeper, which is a 10% heal. There is also a Jade caster around here somewhere with a little bit of extra magic from Power Stone and Regrowth. Death Shrieker Rocket does hit Elspeth. Elspeth needs to get away from here. I'm not 100% sold on this strategy. The Death Shrieker is at 7 leadership. It is so close to breaking, but it's playing a very hazardous game here. Trying to get rid of this thing in this particular manner. Another Death Shriek Rocket, finding a path through the trees right onto Elspeth's poor little head here. Missing a shot there, but the Chaos Dowie lines are very secure up here for now. The steam tank looking like it's going to just ride right through the Chaos Dowie, and I don't know how many of y'all have seen this happen to yourselves, but the steam tank is probably going to dumpster all of these Chaos Dowie by itself if given an opportunity. Over here, another Spirit Leech going down on the Death Shrieker, and it's on death's bed right now. It is so close to breaking. This Death Shrieker doing good damage, and the Luminarch of Heish nailing the Bull Centaur Torok out here. The steam tank running over all the infantry. The infantry are desperately trying to get on the Empire State Troopers, but oh my god, dude. This is getting out of hand for the Chaos Dowie. Advancing the Fire Glaives up into the woods here against Elspeth. I don't know if that's going to be the call. Getting a little bogged down, going after the Lord here, who's got all this healing. Ash may not have really been trying to kill the Death Shriekers in super seriousness. This one's really low, but getting out of here now, I think you've distracted maybe enough to start giving yourself the opportunity to take over the middle objective for sure. Empire swarming all over these Chaos Dowie warriors. Demigryph Knights with halberds coming in. Big call-ins, lots of state troopers flooding onto the field. And the Chaos Dowie are looking a little barren on the field right now. Fireglaze and the Death Shrieks are way out of position. Maybe, though, I mean, they do massively outrange the Luminarch here, so maybe the Luminarch gets dealt with, and then you swarm out here and try and deal with the Steam Tank. You've got to save some of these warriors, though. All of these warriors getting killed is really painful for the Chaos Dowie going into the late game. Deathshriek doing nasty work to the Luminarch. Come on, guys. Come on, Deathshrieks. Please, you could do it. Another Spirit Leech coming in. Overcasted, probably, for the extra range. Yep. Gonna kill this Deathshriek. Get one more rocket off, though. One more rocket from the Deathshriek here would be pretty clutch. But it just explodes unceremoniously. Goes down in a very unfortunate lack of blaze. No blaze of glory there. Just getting unceremoniously killed. Net of Amentot coming out here from Ash, using the Templehof Luminarch to good effect here and absolutely roasting this Death Shriek rocket. This is pretty catastrophic. If the Templehof Luminarch doesn't die to something here, then I think Ash is going to definitely secure this game. The Steam Tank is going absolutely crazy on all of the Chaos Dowie units, and they have no answers to a lot of these forces right now. This Death Shriek is running. The Iron Demon is getting after the Templehof Luminarch. Maybe something can happen here, but Elspeth, nice and healed up now. Another Death's Timekeeper coming in there, doing some good work. The Bull Centaur Torok is on Death's door. Iron Demon being chased down by the Demigryph Halberds and Elspeth here. Amazing plays by Ash. I was very skeptical seeing a 5-unit army. But pulling apart the Chaos Dowie here and playing way too split. I mean, you could have kept the Death Shriekers up here in just a straight line, and you'd have had better firing against Elspeth. Like, being positioned over here, I do kind of see the logic in it, but you're giving Elspeth a lot of forest to work with, and flying units can take advantage of that, as you can see. You know, just flying in the tops of the trees. Lowers accuracy. I do believe it still lowers the accuracy of missile units, as well as the treetops. Still getting in the way of a lot of missiles, so Ash taking advantage of the terrain, and Christopher's not quite doing it in the same way. Fireglave's about to get run over by this Steam Tank, getting a little bit of fire on it. We'll see if they can get good damage, but the Directional Shield just stopping all of the damage there. Overwhelming the Fireglave's opportunity to get range damage in there. We've got some Bull Centaurs back here supporting the Iron Demon. They're doing an okay job, but they get terror routed. Absolute catastrophe here. They're going to rout, too, I'm willing to bet. Getting followed up on here. Losing models as they go and getting chased down, and they do rout. That is punishing. They might have been okay if they had just terror routed, but actually breaking here is the worst possible scenario. And the Luminarch, the Templehof Luminarch out here getting a nice shot on the Iron Demon. What is the value on this thing? It's at 700 health. Barely holding on for dear life. The middle objective is kind of flipping, and Christopher's, despite taking some serious losses in the artillery department, does have one Death Shriek back here. The Infernal Guard are being supported a little bit by the artillery fire from this thing. Elspeth may be going to be able to get back here and finish this thing off. Stop chasing the demon right now. Get back here and finish off the Death Shrieker. Because, I don't know. It's so even still. I mean, despite losing everything they've lost, the Chaos Dowie are still very much in this game. They have secured the middle objective, and the ticket lead is not insurmountable. Gotta find a way to kill this Luminarch. That's number one, but killing the Luminarch and dealing with the Steam Tank, which is finally getting worn down here. That Death Shrieker doing nasty work. Elspeth going after the Iron Demon. Leave this thing alone. Get back here and finish the Death Shrieker off before your Steam Tank goes. If the Steam Tank survives, it's going to be pretty unmanageable. Misses its shot with the cannon on the front, and the Death Shrieker coming in here with more work to do. Christopher's has a lot of points on the table. The Torok in the late game, man. Getting a few attacks in on the rear of this thing. It is unbreakable. Don't let it get to the Death Shrieker. Please don't let it get here. Summon something out. Get Bull Centaur Renders or some Hobgoblin Wolf Riders just to stop that up. Maybe make something happen here. You've got the Kadai Fireborn. They're rallying to this objective. They're going to help support this fight here. They should just get up on the Free Company in the trees there. These Death Shrieker does route. It got 3,000 value. The Bull Centaur is routing too. Astrogoth is on the Steam Tank, and I think he might be able to deal with it here. Just hounding this thing is probably the best bet. The Chaos Dowie did get crushed off the middle objective. Hochland Long Rifles helping to turn that fight. Luminarch of Heish still out here with some room to give, but another Deathstreak rocket coming out. Not a bad call. If you can keep it online and active, it can finish off Elspeth potentially. Gotta get over here and protect it, though. Elspeth will beat the crap out of it in melee. This thing's awful in melee combat. Gotta save it. The Hobgoblins and Blazing Beards of Basharak on top of the Steam Tank, maybe they can work it down. But Chaos Dowie trying to hold on to the back objective. 1,400, almost 15 from the Demigryph Knights with Halberds. They're on top of the Kadai Fireborn here. This is a crazy game so far. Chaos Dowie holding on to the opportunity to get back in this. There is nothing that says down and out about this fight at all. It's not looking super favorable, but Elspeth having trouble finding an opportunity to land on this Death Shriek, but doing nasty work against it. Outmaneuvering a Templehof Luminarch, man, coming in here, getting some shots. Oh no, and the Death Shrieker breaks yet again, not being able to protect that. It's got to be painful. That has to be really discouraging. Steam Tank. Oh, it's going to get a regrowth. That's going to be so nasty. Upgraded regrowth, no less. Oh my god. That's going to probably seal the game here. The Kadai Fireborn are holding back here, but they're going to get shot down by these Pistoliers. Hochland Long Rifles will help deal with them. But they are going after the Blazing Beards of Basharak, which is a good call. They're going to do some nasty work with those armor-piercing missiles. And the Steam Tank is going to get up to about 3,000 HP here, which is more than enough to do some nasty work in the late game. Just going to roll through the backlines here. And, yeah. I don't know what you would have brought out to protect that Death Shriek. Man, a Blunderbuss on top of the Death Shriek would have been really nice. Elspeth wouldn't have been able to get that close to use the Coruscating Blast and Spirit Leech. Would have had to play a lot more honest there, and the Death Shrieker could have finished off the Steam Tank, maybe. There's so many little decisions that go into winning a game. It's hard to say what is or isn't the correct decision as it's going on the battlefield. Kadai Fireborn helping support this flank engagement over here, but they are about to lose their Burning Bright. They're getting really close to losing that Unbreakable Leadership. And if that happens, they might crumble out here. And if that happens, the Dowie and the Goblin Cutthroats will probably be able to deal with the Free Company Militia. But I don't know how you get back on this middle objective at this stage of the game. The Luminarch did get unsummoned there. You've got Empire Knights running around and being really annoying to deal with. They're on top of the Torok. The Torok should just stick and fight with these Empire Knights. It's decently safe from the shooting as long as it's around these guys. They will obstruct the firing of the Hochland Long Rifles. Moving out of combat with the Horsemen is actually not the best idea here. Dropping a Flamestorm here. Let's see if this can do the damage needed to get rid of these Hochland Long Rifles. Good work so far. Get a rotation in. Oh, yes, get in there. Doing nice work. It might be enough to rout them as well. Their leadership isn't ideal. Astrogoth can get back there and maybe do some damage to these guys. The Blazing Beards of Basharak have heard no bell here. They've got some blasting charges left. They're going to wreck these spearmen here. Nice work with them. Maybe going to follow up and push through. We'll see what happens with the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders, who might be able to get the flank here. They're getting around the side. They've got a charge order, it looks. No, they don't have a charge order. Get them in here. Do it now, please. Yes, getting on top of the Hochlands, getting rid of this shooting unit. Don't know how you deal with the steam tank, but we'll not worry about that now. We're going to live in the pipe dream world where the Chaos Dally have a way back into this game. It's never over until it's over, after all. Astrogoth getting after Elspeth. Good micro from Ash getting her out of there, man. Oh my goodness, that was close. Astrogoth is really good against single entities, and somehow the Kadai Fireborn are hanging in here. They don't have Blazing Bright anymore, but they have not broken yet, so more Pistoliers coming to hound these guys down. That's a really good call. Great value on these Pistoliers, too. 700, 500 on these guys, and they're going to get rid of these Kadai here in a moment. Iron Demon coming back out. I think in the late game it will definitely be a lot better. It's got similar potential that the Steam Tank does. Shooting in here, helping against these Spearmen. Poor Blazing Beards, man. They're doing okay against the Spearmen, but the Steam Tank on top of them is pretty nasty. 3,200 value on it. If this were the Master Engineer, it would be up over 4,000 easily by now. But Elspeth coming in here, getting 5,000 value of her own. Gosh, oh my god. We've got some pretty busted lords on the Empire roster, I think. Methinks there might be something to check out here. Pale Scythe fully charged, man. Oh my god, 60% spell mastery. I didn't know it was that much. That's crazy. That is that's something. That's something. That's really all I have to say. Ash is banking up an obscene amount of value here. Unsummoning the Jade Wizard, bringing out handguns, spearmen, Hammer of the Witches, Demigryph Halberd, some spearmen back here. Need to get up on the middle point. You've pretty much got the game secured at this point, though. So, really well played by Ash, bringing in a very unorthodox build and using it to full effect. Elspeth, 5,000 value, just about. Steam Tank is down. It got about 3,300, though. And the Iron Demon and the choo-choo trains of the Chaos Dally proving to be a little bit unequal to the task here, unfortunately. Really nicely done. I would have really loved to see the Death Shriekers just out here in the open ground. I mean, I know it can be a little risky because the Empire has nice artillery options, but, you know, if you do see a big flying lord like this, these trees provide a lot of cover. And there was a lot of shooting and wasted shots here that could have been better served actually hitting something and just trading. And if you are worried about the Empire cannons, you can bring the Demonsmith Sorcerers for 750, and they have a heal. And it's pretty decent. It can definitely heal up the Death Shriekers nicely. So that's something to keep in mind, but you know, you never know what your opponent's going to bring, and who the hell would have ever expected Luminarch of Hysh, Steam Tank, Jade Wizard, and Elspeth on the Dragon with one freaking Free Company militia to go after objectives. You know, kind of hard to plan for pure, like, absolutely wild off-meta decisions here. But Ash showing their stuff, man. Great game. Well done, guys. That was a fun one for sure. Alright, guys. We're going to chill here for a minute. Just wait up for the brackets. And we'll be bringing you Grand Finals ASAP, so let's go see. Very close one. Got a lot of replays. Depending on how I'm feeling after the Grand Finals, I might do a couple more replays. Just have to see how I'm doing on time and what other kind of stuff I've got going on today. Which ones do I not have downloaded already? Give me a minute here, guys. Fiddling around with the replays. I'm just gonna throw them all in here. Okay, perfect. And it looks like finals are up. So we'll be jumping into this finals match. It's going to be... I think it's going to be Ash and Random Cuban, from what I'm gathering right now. I'll definitely do that one then. I'd really love to see a close match. I mean, the last one we watched was supremely entertaining in terms of just, like, being wild off-meta Empire stuff. Maybe not truly off-meta in the sense that those units aren't, like, picked, but bringing them all together, bringing 5 freaking units in your starting army is a bold decision. And seeing it pay off was something special. Okay, hold on. I'm getting distracted. I'm getting too excited about all these games. They've been absolutely amazing. Oh, yeah. I forgot the password. So yeah, we'll at least do one replay after Grands. We'll watch the other semis match. Let's get away from here. Whoops. I don't want to give the game away. Okay, but they're going ahead and starting. Okay, so hopefully everything's fine. Alright. Bordello landing for Grand Finals as well. Okay, cool. And, okay, oh my god. So we've seen something very similar from Random Cuban in the other game of theirs that we cast earlier. It's going to be Techless, presumably on the Horse, maybe on the Phoenix. Wonder what an Air Force against Grand Cathay can do. But yeah, it's pretty small armies on both sides, honestly. Techless, 4 White Lions, 1 Spearman, Heralds of the Wind, and a regular Illyrian Reaver. Heralds of the Wind are interesting. For an ROR, they're... I don't know how much more expensive they are. Like 150. They don't get anything fantastic for being an ROR. They are much faster and just have generally better combat stats like all RORs do. So, I don't hate seeing them. I don't know. They just seem, you know, maybe not the most applicable unit in a lot of circumstances, but they're fine. They're fine, certainly. They can do some pretty good work. I'm always hesitant about RORs that don't get, you know, like special rules and abilities, and just have basically better combat stats. So we've got Grand Cannons here, we've got Zhao Ming, of course, he's got the Van Braces, surely. Yeah, Van Braces here. We've got Plague of Rust, Transformation, we've got Dragon Breath and Final Transmutation. Jade Warrior Crossbows. Where's the Zhanggu War Drum? There it is. It's literally right here in front of my face. My goodness. So yeah, the Zhanggu War Drum is going to be buffing up all of the Jade Warriors and Crossbows here in this blob. And we're going to see if Random Cuban can break into that formation. It's going to be pretty tough to do on the middle objective here. But doesn't have healing. And Zhao Ming, as good as he is, might struggle against the Star Dragon. I mean, Star Dragons are just absolutely insane units. I mean, 64 melee attack, 580 weapon strength. It's got the breath attacks too, man. There are the cannons. The cannons are going to be pretty important here. They're already getting a little bit of damage on the Heralds of the Wind. They're trying to hide behind the big shot blocker here. And looking a little chaotic. I'm not sure what's going on with the orders here. But they're just gearing up to hang out over here. Tree blocking up one of the cannonballs, but another one squeaks through and takes out a couple more models. Losing value here on these very expensive skirmish cav kind of hurts. Probably just want to fall them, get them out of artillery range for now. It might be worth looping through the trees and maybe trying to make a play out of them onto the cannons. Because I think your range will be good enough to scoot up to about here, get a really accurate volley off on the cannons, and then you just retreat back into the woods here and avoid the punishment. That's going to be pretty hard to pull off. It's going to take a lot of micro, but if possible, that's a pretty good play to go for. Grand Cannon's firing at the Star Dragon and missing horribly, showing off its wheels. It's, you know, looking like Neo out here. It's starting to learn. The Heralds of the Wind are being a little risky going through here where the Jade Warrior crossbows can get fire on them. These guys have 160 range, so it's going to be a hot minute before you can get out of combat. And going across the open ground is not the move. Getting punished hard by the cannons as you advance across the open there. These Heralds having a much nicer time taking a leisurely stroll through the forest, but being alone now, I don't know if this is a great idea at this point. Because you're just lacking the necessary killing power. With 2 Heralds, or 2 Illyrian Reavers, you'd have a much better time shooting these guys down, but now having the Heralds of the Wind completely killed off, it's going to be hard to get back there with those guys. There was a nice fiery convo going down on the front line, roasted these Jade Warriors, and the White Lions of Trace do have some good engagements here. They have gotten in pretty uncontested, huge breath attack, absolutely beautiful stuff there, wrecking those Jade Warrior crossbows, and the White Lions of Trace going to get on top of them and make short work of them, while the Star Dragon is going to kill the other crossbow here. And if all it comes down to is having artillery on the field, they're going to do nasty damage for sure, but not holding on to this objective and just value trading with these guys is not going to be enough to win. So that's going to be a fun development to watch. Jade Warriors getting charged down by Illyrian Reavers over here. Got to make sure to cycle charge here. You know, you get good charge damage for sure, but in a sustained fight, Illyrian Reavers are going to get absolutely mauled by Jade Warriors just because of the superior armor on these guys. 80 versus 40. Otherwise, you can take advantage of the charge bonus and good melee stats. What am I saying? Yeah, good melee stats on those guys. But hazardous to leave them in there. White Lions are just chasing down some Iron Hail Gunners. That's not a bad idea. They're getting really far in here, though. Can't really turn around at this stage. So we'll see if these White Lions can get on top of these Jade, or the Iron Hail Gunners, who do get a nice volley here. Doing quite a bit of damage to these White Lions, but they have great leadership, and it is just all out right now for the High Elves. They are determined to get on top of these cannons. More shots going in on the Star Dragon, but there is a lot of heals. Teclis is playing very safe around the pillar here. Did get popped a little bit, but dropping a lot of heals on the Star Dragon here, keeping it very healthy, and nullifying a lot of the gold value that has been going in favor of Grand Cathay so far. But the Iron Hail Gunners right here getting some good flanking shots on these White Lions, and they might not be able to kill this artillery crew in time. But the Reavers coming in, get on top of the Iron Hails. You can do more damage here. Do it here, and then the White Lions are going to win this fight. They have killed the cannons. All of the cannons blowing up, and the cannon crew running for their lives now. Leave the White Lions and get the units out, but a fiery convo coming in. Awesome call in. We'll see if there's a dodge here, but it looks like these Iron Hails are just gone. Oh, moving up a little bit, but not getting out of the way enough. Absolutely roasting out the Iron Hail Gunners here. They're going to break and run, and that's definitely worth it. All the cannons are shut down. Amazing dive back here by the High Elves, doing just enough. They've killed all of the Jade Warriors in the front line, and Zhao Ming looking lonely. Struggling here. Not having a lot to do. And, oh my god, I'm not sure what's going to happen here, man. It's going to be pretty hazardous. For sure. Oh, please. Let's see it. Illyrian Reavers just continuing the dive, man. It's very aggressive. Spearmen out here, stopping up shots from the Jade Warrior crossbows with their shields and just hounding all these routing units here. Really nice play. A rear charge from these Illyrian Reavers would probably break the Jade Warrior crossbows here. Dragon Breath going in, getting good damage on the Illyrian Reavers, but Jade Lancers fighting against War Lions of Trace isn't ideal. These do have good armor-piercing values, and Jade Lancers don't have great melee defense, so they're going to take a lot of damage from that Lion unit. White Lions of Trace killing off some Halberds, and the High Elves are looking really dominant right now. The forces of Grand Cathay are going to have to secure their backlines here, but Cuban not letting up on the pressure and just absolutely going deep on all of these Cathay units back here. Killing off the cannons was absolutely crucial. They were getting great value, but them being dead and gone now is just punishing. Punishing. Zhanggu War Drum coming back out. It did get killed. I would hazard to guess that the Star Dragon was doing a lot of that. The Empress's Crowmen back here getting great value. They were just jumping on some archers and a few other units, it looks like. 119 kills on those guys. But meeting their end at the hands of the Star Dragon, who, not a lot of value, but all of the damage that it took from the cannons and the focus fire, proving to be pretty invaluable, honestly. I mean, I would say that even though it's only got 600 value, in reality, it's more like 2,000, just because that's how much damage it took from the cannons and some of the other shooting. And it just soaked up a lot of attention until the front line fight just swung in the High Elves' favor so hard that Grand Cathay is only just now starting to secure these lines here. A Fire Rain rocket, sorry, not a Hellstorm rocket battery. A Fire Rain rocket coming out. Alright, we'll see what it can do. I'm curious to see what kind of effect it can have against Spearmen. These Illyrian Reaver archers are moving up, but some Jade Warriors going to move out, and they're going to get in front of these guys, hopefully, and just form a nice little protective ring around them. War Kitties out here, 1,200 value on them. Wow, wow. And 1,100 on these White Lions. Beautiful stuff. Spearmen, not great value on them, but they're stopping up these Iron Hills from getting involved in the fray again. And so far, the firing rocket whiffing pretty spectacularly, I would say. Not getting any real damage in there. These Illyrian Reaver archers, there's so few of them left, but they are determined to get on this Fire Rain rocket. And they might do it. -3 leadership, though, I think they're going to break. Yeah, they do break. White Lions, though, they're going to get in there. They're just forcing Micro out of the Grand Cathay player here, and value's close, but this Star Dragon has a lot of damage that it can still provide here. Full health. Teclis is out here on the field somewhere. He's over here. I would be very careful with him. You don't want Zhao Ming to get on top of him. If Teclis gets killed by Zhao Ming, maybe Cathay could make something happen here. Heralds of the Wind are back out. They want to make up for last time. They've got to be feeling pretty embarrassed after that first go-around. They got absolutely massacred by the cannons on the way in. But maybe making enough of a distraction that first time around, and this time they're going to actually find their home against the Fire Rain rocket here. And the extra leadership and stats as an ROR is definitely going to be nice here, because it's going to keep them in combat a little longer against the Onyx Crowman swarm here from Grand Cathay. Such a cost-effective unit, and proving their chops here by tearing apart these poor Heralds, man. They're taking a lot of damage, but they are going to kill the Fire Rain rocket, I think. No, they don't finish it off completely. There's 2 actual rocket pieces left. Zhao Ming over here, he's fighting a little too much. Definitely more than he can chew on. I mean, dragon versus dragon. What more can you ask for? But maybe not the best circumstance for him. He's changing back into human form. Is he going to drop a transmutation here? No, it's going to be a Dragon Breath. Doing a little bit of damage to those Spearmen, but they're not super bunched up. Onyx Crowman, going to jump on those archers for sure. And where is Grand Cathay going from here? The Iron Hills are all the way back here. They can move up. Those Jade Warriors could move up too, but I think that Random Cuban definitely has a full lockdown on this game. At the current moment, is going to be winning the new player championship here. There have been some great games today, and you got to give it up for all of the competitors who are coming in here and willing to show their chops in a casted setting. You know, it can be kind of nerve-wracking to be shown on stream. So, love to see all the competitiveness. And I'm going to show off the other semis replay real quick. I've been promised that it's a really close game, and I'd love to see that. That would be really awesome. Well played, Random Cuban. Those dives in the mid-game there were absolutely amazing. Good job shutting down those cannons. That was the key to victory in that Star Dragon. Breaking up that front line really nicely. The Zhonggu War Drum, I don't know how it died that first time around, but doesn't really matter. It got killed by something along the way, which is really nicely done as well. It's a very annoying unit. And poor Zhao Ming just not being able to make the difference there. Little bit too thin on the infantry department with those cannons in tow. And maybe a little bit of a different build would do better next time, but, you know, we'll just have to see. It is what it is. Oh, that is the, what's going on here? I guess they were waiting for me before playing, so actually we're doing Grand Finals next? What? The Lizardman BT. Oh, it was a round 3 match. Okay, we'll check that out after Grands. I thought that what we were doing was... I thought we were going to be doing the other bracket round, but never mind. We're just watching all of semis and finals, so that's perfect, actually. I don't know what I'm talking about here, guys. I'm so invested in the games, I'm not even paying attention to what's going on in the bracket at this point. Okay. Who's hosting? Getting everybody on board. So this time that we can do this the right way. So we're going to be doing Grands, and then we'll be doing your round 3 losers bracket match, because that sounds like a lot of fun, Zammy. I'd love to show that off. Or Zamiel the Hunter. Okay. Same game, stay in lobby. Okay, perfect. Perf. Alright, guys, it's going to be RTK Random Cuban, and it's going to be Ash. Ash came in with an absolutely bananas build. I don't know how to say it any other way. That was a wild choice coming in with the Steam Tank, Luminarch, and Elspeth on the Dragon that last game. So we'll see if something works. Zamy works? Okay. I'll keep it in mind. I don't wanna mispronounce your tag though. Zamiel. Alright, guys. Whoops. Let's get away from the builds. I'm getting too eager. I gotta swap y'all away so I can take a look at them. I don't want to give it all away. Although I think Random Cuban, after seeing the games he has been playing, I'm curious to see if he mixes it up. Ooh. Okay. We likey. We likey so far. Okay. Cuban is taking a moment to step away to go take care of some business. I'm probably going to go get some water before I drop from dehydration, because I've been sweating in this hot-ass room of mine. So I'll be right back, guys. we've returned. Got a sparkling water. And then some regular water as well. We're going to get this going. Oh my goodness. Absolutely wild games so far. Huge gambles from some of the players so far on their builds. We're going to swap it back over before I forget. Last thing I would want is for y'all to miss out on Grands. It's going to be Empire versus High Elves. We've got Techless here. We've got the White Lions here. We've got the same old force from Random Cuban as last time, actually. Ash is coming out here with something a lot different from the last time we saw him. He's got a Hellblaster Volley Gun Steam Tank, Boris Toddbringer, and a Jade Wizard, definitely with regrowth on him, I would guess. But Boris Toddbringer is pretty independent of heals, so I think most of that healing is going to go onto the Steam Tank, would be my guess. So let's take a look at the abilities and the forces here. We've got Blood Roar, obviously. Hold the Line, Crush the Weak. Love Crush the Weak. Got White Cloak of Ulrich, and the Midland Runefang. So pretty much all of the Boris Toddbringer abilities, which is a good call. He really needs the healing, first and foremost. That's going to give the Jade Wizard, with the regrowth, plenty of casts onto the Volley Gun Steam Tank here. And Boris is going to be pretty useful against the Dragon. It's going to be a bit of a wash between the two, just in terms of damage, because they both beat each other up pretty badly. And they both have healing support, more importantly. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. There's lots of debuffs for melee attack here, which is probably going to be important to get on top of White Lions and support the, well, I guess you don't, because you got the Steam Tank to just run over everything. So we're going to see how the Steam Tank is handled. It's going to be a wild match for sure. I mean, both these players have been on point so far, and definitely have deserved their positioning here in Grand Finals. So this is for all the marbles, guys. And we're going. So, you know, I would imagine there's just going to be lots of movement up onto objectives, trying to get an early ticket lead so that, you know, you can trade a little better into the late game if needed. A little bit of lag, but hopefully it irons out. That would really suck if we had to drop out of here, but we could get the replay afterwards. Seems to be alright. Let's go, let's go, let's see it. Illyrian Reavers are going to charge out onto the number 1. They're going to massively out-trade Pistoliers as well. But the Volley Gun Steam Tank, if it turns and shoots these, you got to have good control with your Skirmish Cav. Do not bunch them up like this. They're going to get absolutely obliterated by one good shot from this Steam Tank. The Volley Guns are brutal. I mean, they have 3 shots and they do a lot of damage, so very fortunate that Ash has not gotten on top of that and just shot these guys to pieces yet. Both of the Pistoliers are over here. They're going to do good damage here. They're definitely in range, and where are these Reavers shooting? Shooting at Boris, which not 100% sold on, and Steam Tank getting a little bit of poke in on these guys, while the Volley Gun firing a few rounds at the White Lions here, which is a great idea. Steam Tank is very important to clear out all of these very expensive high elf infantry, who are going to be pretty difficult to deal with otherwise. And a nice charge there, wrecking those guys. And the Star Dragon definitely making the right call, sending it over to support against the pressure that the Steam Tank can provide against infantry targets. Only 48 speed on this thing. I guess it is kind of slow, but it's mass. It's crazy turning ability. Oh my goodness. Did like a freaking 360 spin on a dime there. I don't think that's how I don't think that's how tanks work. I'm sorry. CA. Hello. But yeah, Star Dragon is going to beat the crap out of this Steam Tank, and just stopping it from running over your front line is pretty awesome. Nice Flock of Doom. Overcasted too. It's going to do vicious damage to all these Pistoliers. Although it is only technically hitting one of them now. But down to about half health on those guys, man. That's pretty good. Techless is going to be very pivotal to working those guys down. And Boris is here helping the Steam Tank out against the Star Dragon. Star Dragon should just stay here and continue the fight. This is really nice for the forces of the High Elves having both of these big SEs here, because the Empire State Troopers, as predicted, absolutely smacked down by the Spearmen and White Lions of Trace, man. Absolutely amazing play here. What else hit these guys? Was there a breath attack or something? Or there's just so many dead Empire Troopers there. Oh, a Hellstorm rocket coming out onto the field. Let's see it. Let's see it. It's getting a little bit of work done here. Hitting the White Lions, who are trying to work down the steam tank here. It is locked in place by the Lions, and the Star Dragon getting involved now is going to do some good work. Can they kill it? I think unblobbing all these units, though, is very important. Oh, but huge plays with the Illyrian Reavers, and a great response with the Spearmen. Absolutely amazing control from both of these players so far. And not just running into the spears, too, but looping around here, outmaneuvering the Demigriffs with halberds. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. Absolutely awesome. Spearmen, good control getting the Spearmen to chase both of these units while the White Lions push through. They're getting onto the objective. They should support the... Oh, the Lions just outright break the Spearmen here. That's catastrophic for the Empire there. Empire is losing all of the objectives now. They're doing some pretty good damage. They are going to save the Hellstorm rocket battery. The Illyrian Reavers did get back here. They did do a little damage to the crew, but they did get swept up by the halberds here and the Spearmen. Huge play saving that artillery piece, because that is going to come in handy very soon here. How's the steam tank doing? It's wrecking house, and Teclis got caught. Oh no, Teclis getting killed by Boris Todbringer. Run, 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 run! Please, Teclis, get away. If Teclis takes a smack here, he's going to be donezo, I think. Getting hit. He does rout. Oh, that's catastrophic for the High Elves. They have all the objectives, though. They're in an okay position. I don't think that this is undoable. This is not unmanageable by any means here for the High Elves. They can get these Illyrian Reavers back. Oh, they rallied at the edge. They're going to get that cannon, or the Hellstorm, I think. That would be huge. Where is... Yeah, Teclis is back here. Oh, we did get a Earthblood, or a Regrowth off on himself, but Boris is just not letting up the pressure, and he's going to rout this Lord off the field. The steam tank is going to go down in response. Please stay on top of the steam tank. If you're going to lose your Lord, at least trade with the steam tank. You can probably kill the Jade Warrior, and that... Oh, the Jade Wizard... Oh my god, the Lions killed the steam tank. Awesome play there. The Jade Wizard running for his life from the Star Dragon, which is very healthy with 2,000 value. Another good rally here. Empire Knights come out and sweep off the Illyrian Reavers for the last time. These Illyrian Reavers, probably not long for this world themselves. Gonna get crushed. Man, oh man, this is going to be a wild game. I would stop diving on the artillery piece at this point and just focus on holding two objectives. Rally up all your forces where you can. You've got some Spearmen on Demigriff Knights in here. Let's go take a look at this combat. Spearmen are going to trade pretty well here. Demigriff Knights, they're great, but these are the Halberd variant, and Spearmen do a lot of damage to large targets. They're very cost effective, but they're kind of pushing through awkwardly on the Spearmen, so they should just stay here, grind down the Spearmen, and they can just roadblock in here. There's nothing that can touch them in this forest. You can roadblock the number 3 objective if you stay in here with this Spearmen. I don't hate that idea. The White Lions of Trace can help support. Tattered Spearmen here on the flank. The War Lions of Trace, they did get broken off there. Empire Knight's going to hammer down these poor Rangers. Come support these guys quickly. You got breath attacks still? Yeah, you got all 3 breath attacks. Those are going to be huge for trading in the late game here. The Luminarch. A Luminarch coming out. Going to be very effective against the Star Dragon. Great call in here. There's not a lot to threaten it now. It's going to be able to do some good work. The infantry are retreating into the forest. That's a really good call from Random Cuban. This is a close match for sure. I would bring... Man, do you bring Teclis out here? Is Teclis the answer? I think you need to bring Teclis out to get heals on the Star Dragon. If you can heal the Star Dragon, you've got the infantry advantage. Don't overextend too much. Make sure that you hold this forest and try and block up reinforcements from moving around it. And doing a good job with the Silver Helms. They're going to get on top of the Demigryph Halberds. The Star Dragon needs to get a breath attack in here. You got 3 of them. Nice use. Huge damage on the Empire Knights. Charge in now? Follow up? No, trying to get away from the Luminarch, which I think is a good idea. This thing is getting nasty work done. Star Dragon needs to escape from the Luminarch pressure until Teclis can come out and get some regrowths. Illyrian Reavers, I don't know. I think Teclis is the right call here, personally. You've got a lot of infantry. I don't know what more infantry is going to really do for you. Handgunners shooting into the White Lions and the Spearmen. Get the Spearmen in front and the White Lions to kind of hang out behind them and maybe flank around the back. More Spearmen for the Empire coming out. Just taking that fight head on is actually probably a good call. Spearmen, man, if Teclis were on the field with fiery convocations right now to delete those Spearmen, that would be amazing. And the Demigryph Halberds, man, hanging in here with a regrowth. That's really nice for the Empire. They're fighting a lot of stuff here, but they're grinding out some pretty good value, and a Luminarch shot misses for a change. Very fortunate for the big old Star Dragon here. Gotta get Teclis out. I'm telling you, Teclis is the call here. You're holding on to all these objectives. If you bring Teclis out to crush this infantry force here and heal up the Star Dragon, it's going to be hard for the Empire to get back in this and a great intercept. These Illyrian Reavers on top of the Luminarch now. The the Hellstorm Rocket Battery, it did lose 2 of its models. Or no, it didn't lose 2. They're just firing super split. It's trying to make an impact, but not doing the most damage in the world. And, oh man, is the Empire going to be able to take a single objective here? They got a huge value lead, but it's really not turning out to be making much of a difference. Killing Teclis, maybe not going to be enough. The Star Dragon doing a good job of staying alive, doing a good job of shutting down that Luminarch for a long time now. It's a long time this thing has not been killing the Star Dragon. And Teclis, no Teclis needed, honestly. Just more Illyrian Reavers, more White Lions, more durability in the front line. And Boris is not able to carry here. He's got great value, 2,500, but not able to break any of these positions for real. The high leadership coming into full effect for the forces of the High Elves. A breath attack for the blob here. That would be pretty clutch. Luminarch gonna get another shot for sure on the Star Dragon. Doing some good work in a nice fiery, Star Dragon's Breath. Getting on top of the Spearmen, doing some good work. Random Cuban, you're a champ. Not bringing in Teclis turning out to be the way. Just locking down every one of the objectives. I like the aggressive play on all these points here. Doing a great job of utilizing all of these tattered units to lock down infantry, getting good fire with the Heralds of the Wind here, who've done pretty well for themselves that first go-around, doing good the second, and making a nice difference. Illyrian Reavers chasing after Pistoliers, and a nice stop-up on the Unsummon. These tattered Illyrian Reavers shutting down the Luminarch Unsummon is coming in huge here. That would have been a big rebate. A lot of points on the table for Ash. Gotta be more aggressive with that. You have no objectives and you're out of time. It's a little too late here to be trying to cap the objectives up. Doing a good job of holding on to that value lead, but at the end of the day, the all of the artillery pieces and Boris Todbringer and trading not making enough of a difference here, not being able to get through any of the High Elf infantry, ending up being the breaking point for the Empire there. Really well played by Random Cuban. I thought he was probably cooked when Teclis went down, but proving me wrong, and well-deserved win there against the forces of the Empire. Boris Todbringer, unfortunately not making it happen there. And the Steam Tank, 2,000 value, but it dying did leave Empire without a secure method of clearing out the remaining infantry that just kept flooding out onto the field. So good recognition of a big advantage there for Random Cuban. And, losing Teclis not being the backbreaker that I thought it would be. High leadership factions proving their stuff, man. Losing your lord is not always a death sentence in domination mode, as you can see. So yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Grand Finals going to Random Cuban. Big dub, huge congrats. Let me go make sure I congratulate. Random Cuban is going to be our champion here. Let's go check out this round 3 replay, and then we'll probably wrap it up here. LM versus BT. Huntress Hippo and Luscious Lover. I love the names, guys. Y'all keep it up. Dude, I mean, this is a freaking showdown for the ages. I mean, Huntress Himbo versus Luscious Lover. These are star-crossed folks if I've ever seen it, obviously. I mean, look at this freaking build, too. Huntress Himbo bringing out a pretty interesting build for sure, with the double Troglodon, Feral Troglodons, Saurus Spears. I believe this is a red-crested skink on something. Gotta be on something, right? A Stegodon, maybe? It's a pretty narrow build. No, just a red-crested skink chief on foot. Alright, I mean, does have bonus versus large. Not a lot of health, so little risky with him. But we'll see how he can do. I don't even know how he performs on foot, but I'm interested to see what the Troglodons do here, man. The ROR has the Primeval Roar, which is a huge buff to melee attack for 31 seconds. I mean, that's a Horn of Corn on cooldown of 60 seconds. In melee, that's pretty amazing. And it's going to be pretty good against this Foot Squire build, honestly. The Royal Peg Knights, they're out here, they're making their, they're strutting their stuff. They're going to make sure everybody knows that they're Bretonia's true saviors. You know, the Royal Hippogriff Knights, they're all poncy and fancy fellows who think a little too highly of themselves for having seen the Grail and drunk from it. Royal Pegasus, I don't know actually though. Are these guys technically Grail status? Can somebody let me know? I don't know the lore well enough to say for sure. But they're coming in here being a little cheaper than the Hippogriff Knights. And they're going to see what they can do. Don't have any targets really right now though. The Troglodons do have a lot of armor, so they can be pretty durable against those Pegasus Knight attacks, despite the anti-large. Playing a very cagey game in the early going here. 1 objective going to Bretonia, 2 to the forces of the Lizardmen, using some Saurus Spears to lock up this one here, off to the side. Trying to get the drawing tools. You know, it's worth bringing a couple of infantry units out and just kind of locking down the objective by positioning here and here. Because you close off a flank here unless your opponent wants to go all the way around. You can always put something here and roadblock, and you can use cavalry to move up and stuff here as well. The Living Saints ability says they've drunk from the Grail. Okay, well, never mind. They're also poncy little fellows. So, very cool, though. They've got the Blessing of the Lady, Perfect Vigor, and Ward Save. Ward Save is really nice, man. Very underrated, having something like that in a convenient package. They're taking vicious damage from the Troglodons, though. I mean, 3 models down already. So, really liking the choice of bringing these guys. More shots coming in, taking another 2 Pegasus Knights down. That sucks, too, because they can't get healed. You can't cast an Earthblood or a Regrowth on these guys, because those models are dead and gone. There's no room to do anything about that. But some Grail Guardians are coming out. They're lancing through here. Oh, Grail Knights, sorry. So even better. They're going to be really nice against the Pale Death and the Feral Troglodon here. We'll see what they can do. A Arc of Sotek Bastillodon coming in here. Gonna need to come in here to help against these Foot Squires. Colossadon Hunters boxing the Pegasus Knights out, and the Grail Knights hounding down the Troglodons, but finding themselves in a little bit of an overextend here. They will do nice work against the Colossadon Hunters, but they are trying to get away, and most of the unit is stuck back here, so big losses for Luscious Lover so far. We'll see what Himbo is able to pull off here. Oh my goodness. Ark of Sotek rolling through the front line, does not care about any of these units. Great flock of Dooms so far, wearing down the Foot Squires pretty efficiently. Gotta stay away from the Pegasus Knights. Really good control here coming in from our favorite Himbo in the world. Huntress moving the Skink Priest of Chiefs away from danger. Gotta keep moving. Don't stop, keep going. Colossadon Hunters trying to help out. Nasty work going in against the Skink Chief, but just able to squeak away, and the Troglodon Fire and Colossadon Hunters absolutely wrecking the Royal Pegasus Knights here. Where are the Grail Knights? They're over here. Oh, they're taking nasty damage from the Troglodons too. These guys are proving to be massive game changers. 1,000 value on the Feral Death, or on the Pale Death, sorry, and this Feral Troglodon not too terribly far behind. All of the damage has been on high impact units as well. 3 more Grail Knights falling, another one going down there. Regrowth being cast, but it's not gonna heal them up too much, and they're still gonna take model loss here. So this is unfortunately a bit of a waste of a regrowth. It can be hard to tell though when it is and isn't gonna be maybe not useless, but certainly not as impactful as it could be. And the Colossadon Hunters going deep to shut down the Royal Peg Knights. They can probably dive down and kill this Blessed Field Trebuchet if they wanted, but I don't think they need to, honestly. Knights of the Realm coming out. They've killed and finished off these Saurus Spears, and it is really close. It is still a really close game. Don't let this be said that it's out of reach for the Bretonnians, because they still have a very nasty blob here in the middle. Not having any way to deal with the Feral Troglodons right now, who are wrecking the Grail Knights and the Pegasus Knights aplenty, is going to be painful. But they're going to run out of ammo eventually, and it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to be able to make their impact felt enough to make a difference in melee. Another Flock of Doom coming in. What's the value on this guy? Got to be pretty good at this point. 1544 with the Flocks of Doom coming in and just smacking down Foot Squires and Men-at-Arms, Pole Arms. Oh my god, the Peasant Bowmen. Run over by the Colossadon Hunters. God, this game going in hard. Temple Guard coming out. Love the summon in, honestly, of some Temple Guard. What is this going to be? Oh no! A Dwellers Below coming in. It's going to do nasty work against these Temple Guard, the Skinks. Getting hit pretty hard too. It's going to be pretty nasty damage, but is it going to be enough? That's a very expensive spell. And the Troglodons are actually shooting the Footcaster here. Felix and the Damsel and Rapunzel, that's a nasty foot squad to have to deal with. They're hanging in there. They're making a lot of impact here, believe it or not. Felix is keeping those lords nice and healthy. Rapunzel buffing up everything pretty extraordinarily with her. She's got the Halo, but the Fleur-de-Lis banner with the 10 melee attack and melee defense. Or 10 melee defense, 8 melee attack, sorry. Proving to be pretty nice here. Kind of getting run over from the Bretonnians. I'm curious to see how they're going to get back in this game. They do have some spearmen with a Grail Relic out here. They're chipping down these Saurus Spears pretty efficiently. They're actually going to cap this away from the Lizardmen. And the Colossadon Hunters are pretty low here. And another... What is this? Another Dwellers Below? Oh my god. Wrecking the Temple Guard here. And they're also taking fire from the Blessed Field Trebuchet, which is doing good work. If the Colossadon Hunters get dealt with, I think cheap Bretonnian cavalry might be able to start taking over the game. Oh no. Is Bretonnia about to swing this back? They've done admirably against these Temple Guard. The Temple Guard might kill the Damsel of Life. I don't know how much magic she's got left with all of those Dwellers Below coming in. It's a very expensive spell, but they might break upon the swords and shields of the Bretonnians here. I don't know what to say. I mean, Elite Halberd's getting absolutely dumpstered by Rapunzel and Felix here. Damsel of Life and the Grail Relic still healthy. This Ark of Sotek, man, has been pretty MVP, getting a lot of damage with its Mortis Engine and just, you know, decent combat stats against infantry, getting poked down by all these spears, who are getting super buffed up now from Rapunzel here in a moment. Just needs to get into melee against this guy. Very important to remember that this is activated only in melee. And man, oh man, the Troglodytes out here, they're working down these Knights of the Realm, but they're almost out of ammo. And once they run out, I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do against the Hero Corps, because these heroes are actually insane. And the Forces of Bretonnia have a triple cap coming in. Oh my gosh. Knights of the Realm, they're going to be lancing into these skink cohorts over here. Nice charge. Get some good value out of these guys before they go down. They're going right through the formation, getting on top of the other skink cohort too. Yeah, the Hero Corps definitely proving to be pretty unmovable. The best thing you can do against this Hero Corps is get rid of Felix first. The Troglodytes are obviously pretty accurate against heroes. With all the Dwellers Below that have been used, and having any ammo on the Feral Troglodytes, don't give these guys anything to fight in melee from this point. Just focus on slowly working down Felix from range, and you can take this middle back, and focus on securing the number 3. You're not in triple cap territory yet. That would be my advice. Ignoring these guys is a good idea, but getting range pressure with the remaining Troglodon ammo on Felix would be a good call here. Because they've done some pretty good work against SE so far. But I don't hate the working down the Knights of the Realm. I just gotta watch what happens in the rest of this battle. I mean, it's tight. Getting something over here to cap the number 1 that's undefended would be huge as well. Just some Feral Cold Ones. Or Cold One Spear Rider, most probably. You've done a really good job with the Colossadon Hunters. They're doing a great job of mopping up the cav. Getting on these archers now, and just crushing this tattered infantry corps here. You got a lot blobbed up. You can surround with all these skinks. The skinks can go shut down the archers, deal with them. The Colossadon Hunters can fly overhead and get a rear charge on these spears and be pretty safe if there's some skinks that also go around the back and get underneath them. They won't take a lot of damage from the spears if they have buffering. Good call, charging on top of the spears with those guys. And the Knights of the Realm not being very active out here. More Knights of the Realm coming in here. Feeding into this blob is a big mistake. These guys are just going to keep grinding away against all these infantry. You don't have an answer here for the heroes. They've got a lot of room on their healing cap. They've got that objective on lock. The play here would have been to push those spears onto the number 1. And what is Bretonnia going to do? Their heroes can wander over here. But if they move off of this objective, that's when you can swarm them with stuff when they're caught in no man's land, and you can afford to value trade there. Even though you'll be losing value, you've got a value lead, and you'll have your opponent's heal blob off of the objective, and then you can just keep a hold on this objective here. Another Dwellers Below, man. Ouch. Good micro out of it, though, for the most part. Definitely could have been a lot more devastating to you than it ended up being. Good job resecuring the number 3. I like the plays out here. Killing the Grail Relic is a great job. Great focus with the micro, too, for the Colossadon Hunters. It is taking them a while to chip it down. But they'll get it. They'll get it. And unsummoning the really tattered spears here and keeping this healthy-ish spear unit here is a good idea. Skink cohorts, ignore the middle. Ignore the middle. Just over there next time. When you see something like this on the middle, if a heal blob is present, don't play into it. You know, Rapunzel and Felix, there are answers to them that you do have on the field. You can use the Feral Troglodons to, like, go in and charge them down. If you use Spearmen to just control the number 1, you wouldn't have fed as much value as you did, but you still got it, and you do need the triple cap at this point. So you kind of are pigeonholed at this point into fighting them. Earlier in the game, though, you could have moved the spears and the sources that are, you know, pretty tattered now onto the number 1, like I've been saying. I hate to harp on it too much. You are playing this really well regardless. The Colossedon micro is absolutely incredible. I have not seen the Colossedons come in and be on the field as long as they are now. They are wrecking house on all of these Bretonnian Knights. The Troglodons are a great tech piece. I love seeing them here. They're doing some nasty work, too. And the Ark of Sotek, you've done a good job microing that as well. So it's a pretty good place here, man. I don't know if you're playing the Lizardmen or not. I assume you are based on what you're saying in chat here. But, you know, the Bretonnian player is doing a nice job of keeping the hero core nice and blobbed up so that the Troglodon shooting can't quite get on them. And just trading here pretty neatly. But pretty rough for the Bretonnians at this point. They didn't really have anything to answer the Pale Death and the Feral Troglodon. So, yeah, I like it. I really like this call. I'm curious to see if it would work against, you know, any other kind of Bretonnian build. Like, something that has even more knights in the opening. To, like, maybe pressure these guys. But they've done well. They've done really well. I'm really impressed by the matchup knowledge, or I would say. Troglodons moving over. Gonna help secure this number 1 now, and it's definitely gonna be game for the Bretonnians if this objective swings. Getting off of the objective here with these Knights of the Realm is not the best idea. I know they're intercepting Feral Cold Ones, which is a good call, but you are losing here. You gotta hold this. And capping over the heroes, really nice stuff. The Field Trebuchet man has been going all day, doing some good work. Killing some more skink cohorts. If there's any tips I could give to the Bretonnian player, the Pegasus Knights and the Grail Knights, I see what you were going for, trying to pressure in the back line. There's just not enough cover for those guys, and the Troglodons were just chipping them down over and over again. So maybe not playing in the middle with those guys and forcing the Troglodons to move around the battlefield more and stretching your opponent's micro. You can use those Grail Knights to just... they could have gone over here on the number 3, where there was just a spear in the early game holding here. You could have used the Peg Knights to engage in the front if you wanted to, and the Grail Knights with their armor piercing to hammer home from a rear charge. Probably would have just flattened that Sword Spear unit immediately. Especially with just a couple of Earthbloods as well. Earthblood has pretty good range on it, so the... I like that there's a Footcaster here, but it gives up a little bit of battlefield control for your spell kit. And the Dwellers Below was nice, but I do think that Earthblood and Regrowth would have been more consistent. You've already got something pretty nasty here with Felix and Rapunzel fighting together. I mean, there's just so many stats that she gives to fellow friendlies. I don't know if you really need to commit to bringing a really devastating AoE spell like Dwellers Below. Despite the good work it did, I think Earthbloods and Regrowths would be a little bit better to support that kind of a blob, honestly. Lizards didn't really have anything to punish a blob too terribly hard. Outside of Troglodons, limited shooting, they do run out of ammo after, you know, they only have 20 shots, and after they're out of that, you know, the decent combat stats are great and all, but fighting against Spearmen and Foot Squires with Rapunzel buffs is rough. It's really rough. Yeah, he did clean you up on the infantry with the Dwellers, but in return, all of his infantry did get dealt with. You know, they lacked... overall, the Bretonnians lacked staying power into the late game, And the Knights, man, just getting absolutely wrecked by the Troglodons and the Colossedon Hunters was awesome. You controlled that battlefield incredibly well, Zamiel. You should definitely hang your hat up on that performance. That is a really well-played game. And Luscious Lover, man, really scrapping there and doing decently. It's just the only thing was those early overextends with the Grail Knights and the Royal Pegasus Knights. But it's hard to know when you're overextending. When you see targets that these guys do, in theory, counter, they just took too many casualties on the way in. They took too many casualties, and then the regrowth that got popped on the Grail Knights was basically wasted because all of the damage that had been done was on model deaths and not just, like, plain old damage. So, you know, that's a pretty painful waste of how much magic? Like 12 magic, I think, is a basic regrowth. But, you know, hard to say. It's rare that you see Troglodon, so I do not blame you for not knowing that your healing wasn't going to be doing anything for these guys. So, yeah. I think I'm going to leave the games off here, guys. I need to go eat something. Gotta go do some IRL stuff. But thank you for tuning in. And drop a like. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. I'm going to be doing more of these. You know. I love these casts. And this new player tournament was a freaking blast. So I will probably be doing these regularly on Sundays. I love watching advanced tournament players play. But y'all are putting to death the any claims that people might have that newer players aren't interesting and exciting. I haven't heard anybody have the guts to say that, but y'all are in good standing. I think some of y'all have the chops to start winning tournaments if y'all just keep it the game, honestly. So yeah. Take care, guys. GG's.